Speaking of unionization and this stuff, this happened. Remember, WWE just fired Zelina Vega 10 minutes after she tweeted about unionization. Shut the fuck up. I mean, that's literally illegal, man. How? Your own substantiated guess is that they told her to take her Twitch and OnlyFans down. She refused. They fired her. She threw this grenade on her way out. They rehired her. They rehired her and made her delete the tweet. Here, this is the CM Punk going out off script and yelling about it.
Look at how quickly Cena gets back in the ring. I got all these tickets. Y'all don't want to play football.
October 25th, 1987. Eagles coach Buddy Ryan is about to call the meanest play the NFL has ever seen, and Randall Cunningham is about to execute it. It will be beyond unsportsmanlike. It will be an act of hatred, a righteous instrument of revenge. And the Cowboys will deserve every bit of it.
Okay, all you fucking wrestling stands, shut the fuck up. This is actually a successful... Wait, isn't this a unionization effort? Like, isn't this like NFL Players Union? You blueballed us? Oh my god, wrestling fans are fucking unbearable, dude. We will watch it after, okay? Shut the fuck up. You fucking little babies. We'll get back to your fucking dumb soap opera in a second. I love it too. Unfucking bearable.
Most tales of vengeance sprawl across years, even decades. This one is compressed into a few short weeks of chaos. It begins in the...
Take an hour off. When you come back in an hour, we'll be watching that other video. I will literally fucking ban you for... well, ban you permanently if you come back and you do that kind of dumb shit in here again.
Early hours of September 22nd, 1987, when the NFL's players officially go on strike. Work stoppages are a recurring feature of the NFL. The NFLPA says we're almost certainly headed for another one in 2021. The 2011 lockout narrowly missed eating into the regular season. The 87 strike was actually the 5th strike in a 20-year span. Players wanted things. Strikes were how they tried to get them. Now, unions tend to divide people. No union is perfect, and like any sizable gathering of any people, they're occasionally corrupt and they've got problems. But generally speaking, public opinion of unions falls into two main camps, right? If you're in the first camp, then you believe that workers deserve some kind of leverage against their employers. They make society work, and therefore they should have special things. They should be able to demand pensions, healthcare, fair pay, that kind of thing. If you're in the second camp, you're an asshole. NFL fans sided with ownership 3-1, and while I disagree with them, I do kind of get it. The average NFL salary in 1986...
That was awesome. This is John Bois. For those of you who don't know, the uninitiated. It's John Bois. Who actually co-wrote the documentary with Felix. Cool Guy Sports. You dudes need to get involved in sports or something, man. This shit's weird and not healthy. Donald Trump more like Donald Dumb, pretending that racism is the reason Trump is so popular is ignorant, guaranteed way to undermine any real future DNC success. Adios to cultural appropriation. This is 1000% like one of those. It was just the stutter guys. What about Trump? This is 100%. This guy is like one of those fucking weirdo leftist dudes. Okay. like one of those like weird ass fucking leftist dudes who's like, I'm a working class guy, and you know, you guys fucking love talking about Donald Trump, lol, like irony poisoned Twitter poster in here. Hasan, really unique and funny political opinions. Just wanted to type that out to see what it felt like. Well, guess what, dude? Now you got fucked cool guy sports.
Six was $200,000. No one else who strikes makes that kind of money. It was 8 times.
Like, imagine coming in here and fucking crying when I'm watching sports. I'm literally watching
Times
sports.
The average American salary at the time. What's important to remember, though, is that while that worker can probably stay in that line of work for decades, the average NFL career is only 4 years long. He has to go find a second career and start over. A few players might find that in broadcasting, product endorsements, coaching, something like that. The rank and file probably won't. Meanwhile, they're recovering from a brutal career. Football is organized human wreckage that often leaves its players with long-term health issues. Healthcare isn't optional for them. They need it. They also want pensions in the interest of long-term security. In 1987, the players try to negotiate these things, among others, but the owners aren't interested. In striking, the players utilize the only real leverage they have left. So the Players Association goes to work building their coalition. They have to remain unified if they're going to get what they want. They aren't simply after barrels of money. They're fighting for their future.
We'll provide you with a daily pat on the back or kick in the backside to keep you moving toward your goals.
I used to work at Radio Shack. It was a crappy job. Would have been less crappy if, we had a union. But we did get one perk. Every store was hooked up with NFL Sunday Ticket. One Sunday, some guy wanders in from the mall and he's like, "Can I just come in here and watch with you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So we're talking for a few minutes, and eventually he tells me that he spent the last couple of years as a kicker in the NFL. I later looked this up and verified it was him. He said he wanted to make it back into the league, but he was probably done. He missed a couple short field goals, and that was it for his whole career. I think I accidentally internalized this idea that if you were ever an NFL player, that you had just made it, that you were good, you achieved your lifelong dream, and everything was cake from here on out. Meanwhile, this guy walks into my store months after having kicked in front of millions of people. He's just standing there watching with me, just a dude.
DirecTV NFL Sunday Ticket Sweepstakes for your chance to win a trip for two to meet Arizona Cardinals quarterback Jake Plummer.
In 1982, the players' strike.
I get why Republican employers hate unions, but why did Republican working class hate them? Just dumb. Dude, there are Republican working class people that don't want to take a free vaccine because they think that it's going to kill them or make them infertile. And that's precisely why they want to take ivermectin instead. And then they can't get the ivermectin from their doctors, so they get it from the fucking feed store. Are you really asking me a question as to why Republican reactionary conservative fucking workers advocate against their best interests in the form of like unionization? They're fucking stupid, dude. They're stupid and they're brainwashed. And I'm sorry, it doesn't matter if you're a liberal or a Republican or anything. Okay? You are advocating against your best interest when you advocate against unionization.
Wiped out almost half the regular season. The owners lost a ton of money and they don't want it to happen again. This time around, they're out to bust up this union as quickly as they can, so they do something that's...
Yeah, and they also fucking believe that like unions will... There's so much propaganda against unions that like... First of all, here, number one, they make it seem like the union is comprised of outside individuals. The workplace is a family, but the union, they're outside guys. Okay, two, there are some rules and regulations around this, but they still fucking, lie about it. They make it seem like the business will be impossible to run with a union coming from the outside. Okay, we might actually have to, we might go away. We might no longer be a profitable business. Okay. Then they also mass surveil the leadership, the people that actually engage in the unionization effort and, threaten them and do everything they can. And then inevitably do fire them if the unionization effort doesn't go through. Yeah, they just say it's a scam. They say it's going to take a piece of your fucking... it's going to take money out of your pocket in union dues. They say it's a corrupt government-like system. The government's corrupt. You don't want the government, and you don't want the union to come in here and like fuck shit up. We have a good thing going. We're family. Then they say, we're going to actually help you out instead. We're going to hear you. We're going to hear you out. We'll give you some benefits, which they will immediately take away because you have no protection. You have no protection. Without a union, you just have no protection. They can do whatever the fuck they want, and they continue to do that. And then you get fired for no reason. You know?
It's never been done. They hire replacement players. They round up whoever they can get. Old college guys, players they can pry away from the CFL, Suge Knight. Yeah, there he is, defensive end, 1987 Rams.
What?
Suge Knight. The NFL cancels Week 3 while it gets its replacement teams ready to play, and then it trots out those replacement teams in Week 4. They suck. They usually don't even suck in an entertaining way. With almost no time to introduce players to their systems, coaches have to drastically simplify their playbooks.
This is one of the beautiful parts about the NFL and the NBA and areas where there is still like more of a meritocracy. It's the closest you can get to a meritocracy as any, like within any of our many industries, right? And the thing is, that's why like these guys are not replaceable. Totally wrong, says Socialism Now. Dude, are you fucking stupid? NFL athletes are absolutely like the closest to a fucking meritocracy in this on this planet, or in this country at least. It's the closest thing we've ever had. And if your dumbass argument is going to be fucking healthier diets for richer kids and better fucking training programs for richer kids, yeah, no shit. I recognize that. Except because of the accelerated profit motive, we have like insane scouting programs, dude. Directly competitive sports by definition are meritocratic. Yes, it is the closest thing we will ever have to a real meritocracy. Good luck finding a guy running a 4.4 at 6'5 at 250. Yeah, it's just like, it's so stupid. It's so fucking stupid. No, I'm going to do WWE Reacts in a little bit. We're going to go back to it. All right, Socialism Now. Does he have anything, or I want to hear it?
It just isn't very interesting or fun to watch.
No, dude, people literally pick up poor, talented kids from impoverished areas and put them in places with better resources so their talents can be utilized. Yeah, that's my fucking point, you idiot. That's literally the point. That's the point. You're proving the point. That's what I'm saying. I just said that. I said that before you typed that. Why do chatters do this, dude? It's my least favorite thing chatters do is like say the same thing that I'm saying, but imply it in a contentious manner as though they are the ones who are bringing it up.
Watch, and the fans know it. Attendance craters. Thousands of tickets are refunded. TV ratings sink, and networks are trying to get out of their contracts. Fielding replacement players allows the NFL to keep the lights on and generate at least some revenue, but it also does something far more insidious. It challenges the structural integrity of the Players Association. In previous strikes, the players were a unified front. Either all of them played, or...
Anyway, the point I was going to make is that because NBA, NFL, and like these sorts of organized sports are truly like the closest we can ever get to a meritocratic design, that their unions actually do hold a tremendous amount of power, because even if you literally fucking pad the decks with a bunch of scabs, you're not going to replace it. Like, it's irreplaceable. The Writers Guild had a similar situation, And there was a massive like writer's strike a while ago, I forget, but the inception of that strike actually led to reality television blowing the fuck up. Because there was just nothing. Like there was nothing. You can't, like, you know, even with artistic endeavors, like there are still always situations where, you know, you're not, even if it's subjective, you're not going to get the same oomph.
Or none of them played. There was no third option of some of them leaking across the picket line because there were no games to show up for. This time there are. Each player is free to betray.
Dude, I'm sorry, but if you literally think, look, you know, solidarity with all working class individuals, but like, if you literally think that, you know, finding scabs for a fucking factory work is the same as like getting scabs to play in the NFL, like you're out of your fucking mind. Like, I do think that workers deserve more, they deserve better pay, they deserve better benefits, but you're literally a fucking psycho if you are going to say that like LeBron James is replaceable talent. Like, you're delusional to a degree that I cannot comprehend. Like, I don't know what happened to you. And it's demonstrably false because the NFL tried it. Jesus fucking Christ.
His teammates and cross the line to take a paycheck. Some of them do. By day 9 of the strike, 40 players become scabs and rejoin their teams. But that's less than 3% of the Players Association. For the time being, they're holding strong. And no team is holding stronger than the Philadelphia Eagles. Throughout the strike, only 3 Eagles walk across the line, and all 3 are nursing injuries that require team resources. They do so with their teammates' blessing. This team is as unified as any in the NFL, and they have a very clear idea of what they want. They want pensions, they want severance pay, they want the freedom to play for any team they want. This is not Russia, says wideout Kenny Jackson. Linebacker Gary Cobb says that they had no choice but to strike, purely out of principle. That if they didn't strike, it would send the message that they would put up with anything. These guys are talking like revolutionaries. Same can't be said for Randall. Hey, remember Randall? This is a video about Randall. Randall Cunningham will go on to become one of the greatest dual-threat quarterbacks in NFL history. He'll eventually complete his evolution from the league's best running quarterback to, in 1998, its best passing quarterback. For now, he's a 24-year-old whose career is just getting going. He doesn't share the deep-seated convictions of his teammates. He's clearly annoyed. He wants to play. But unlike dozens of others across the league, he refuses. And he doesn't simply stay home. He throws on a sandwich board and shows up to the picket line.
Do you think sports haters consist of a lot of people who suck at sports? That would imply that sports lovers actually are good at sports. And you're fucking out of your mind. Okay? I know many sports lovers. None of them are good at sports. They're all fucking couch potatoes who fantasize about being good at sports, but would never actually do anything that is physical ever. So, no, I do think that, no, I mean, I think people that hate sports, I mean, I don't like organized sports. I love the fucking stories. I watch porn for the stories. I watch WWE for the stories. Well, I actually do appreciate like athletic feats, but it's the same with fucking sports. Like, it doesn't hit for me. It just does not. It will never hit for me. Organized sports is so boring for me to watch. I'm not going to yuck anyone's yum. If they enjoy it, then that's great. You know, life is ultimately meaningless. You know, it's just an endless sequence of top of the hour ad breaks that are coming. You know what I mean? And then the Twitch streamer tells you that and then follows through by telling you how they can avoid the ads if they want to. And, you know, that you can subscribe for $4 because it's September. So it's September, so it's 20% off. Or you can subscribe for free with a Twitch Prime. Or if you don't want to fucking subscribe at all, you're like, fuck this guy, you know, then you can use an ad block or a VPN. But Twitch Prime is still free if you steal someone else's Amazon Prime account and connect it to your Twitch account. You know, that's what life is like sometimes. So yeah, ultimately, if you like sports, just watch it. Who cares?
Convictions may not be sophisticated, but they're unmistakable. Randall Cunningham stands with his teammates. That's his principle.
Look out! I'm coming on through. Randall Cunningham, quarterback. The guy everybody wants to sell. Now you see me, now you don't. You think you will? No, you won't.
Oh my God. Okay. This is like, I mean, that's terrible, dude. What the fuck?
Tuesday, September 22nd, day one of the strike. The Eagles form a picket line outside Veterans Stadium, but no replacement players try to cross it. Ground support is offered by the Scab Buster, a Ford Bronco that's been modified by a couple of players. For now, it's ceremonial. It will soon hold.
Dude, that's so sick. That's fucking sick, dude. Yo, this never happens in America anymore. I feel like even when the players union in the NBA, like they said that they were gonna fucking strike for BLM, and Obama immediately called them up and was like, "Don't do it. If you like your basketball, you can keep it." Like, fuck me, dude. It was so dog shit. I mean, those big inflatable rats still exist. But I'm just saying, like, you know, fucking the players union doesn't do shit like that anymore, I feel like.
Tactical importance. Day 3. Busloads full of replacement players sneak into Veterans Stadium under cover of darkness. When the Eagles arrive to picket, they find out they've been given the slip and immediately plan countermeasures. They learn that the replacements are staying in a hotel in Mount Laurel nearby, so they shift the line. The Scabs return from practice to find the Eagles forming a human chain in front of the Hilton entrance. When the bus driver attempts to drive around them and enter through the exit, he's blocked by the Scab Buster. The Eagles refuse to move and eventually cause a traffic jam that backs up cars on I-295 for a mile. The police ultimately order the Eagles to stand aside, but they still aren't done. Hours later, a replacement player, AJ Sebastianelli, orders a pizza. When the delivery guy enters the hotel and heads up to his room, Eagles running back Michael Haddock slips in behind him. He gives him a heart-to-heart. Haddock asks him, "Son, do you know what you're doing?" Sebastianelli thinks about it for a while, and then he leaves the team. He's one of 6 players who quit. The Eagles are not only holding strong, they're successfully talking guys into giving up their NFL dreams and respecting the picket. It's working. Day 7. After days of forming human chains, a judge orders a maximum of 4 picketers at a time. That's not enough to block a road, so the Eagles have to shift tactics again. They hold a bake sale. The money they raise will be used to buy plane tickets for scabs who want to quit the team but don't have the money to fly home. The fans have returned more than 40,000 tickets for refunds in the last week. On October 4th, the 13th day of the strike.
Dude, that's so sick. America is a perfect place for a revolution to spark if only its people were class conscious. The American people are the lowest when it comes to class consciousness. Like, I cannot think of a group of individuals that, I mean, dude, even in the peak of fucking the Great Depression, okay, when there was opportunity ripe for class consciousness, we're talking like fucking communism, socialism, growing movements all around the world. There's like international support that you can get for the international class struggle. And even then, what's his face? Steinbeck famously said socialism will never, it was probably falsely attributed to him, but I still love it. It's like socialism will never work in the United States of America because the working class do not see themselves as an exploited proletariat, but instead temporarily embarrassed millionaires. Like, think about that. That was an environment in which, like, it was Richard Wright who said that. Okay, well, fucking everyone attributes it falsely to Steinbeck. Like, in an environment where we had similar levels of wealth inequality, as a matter of fact, we literally have the same levels of wealth inequality from that era. Right now. And also no, like, international movement, mobilization, alternative. Think about that. It's actually worse now. And also, there's no counterweight. There's no counterbalance.
The replacement Eagles are set to play their first game. The real Eagles plan to be there too. And the Teamsters pledge to picket alongside them. The courts hand down another ruling. On game day, strict picketing limits are set. Only 20 can picket at the main gate, 6 at the truck ramp on Pattinson Street, and 10 at every other gate. That's a maximum allowance of 86 picketers. According to police estimates, there are 1,500. 45 minutes before game time, the Teamsters bring in 36 tractor trailers and park them bumper to bumper next to the stadium. Traffic is strangled.
Dude, that's so sick. Fucking Teamsters, dude.
One car tries to make its way into the parking lot. More than 100 Teamsters swarm it, smashing its windshield in. The chaos sends fans into retreat. When this game was scheduled, it was expected to draw 60,000 people. Fewer than 5,000 make it into the stadium. Many of those who do are shoved, spat on, and pelted with eggs. This goes too far for at least some of the players' liking. The Eagles union rep, John Spagnola, asked the Teamsters to back off. "Don't take our cause and make it your cause," he begs. They yell back at him, "Don't show weakness."
Tastes great. Less filling. Tastes great. Less filling.
The NFL is being torn apart, here and everywhere. New York. Mark Gastineau, perhaps the most high-profile player to cross the picket line so far, is spat on and punched by his teammates on his way to practice. Kansas City. Chiefs players Dino Hackett and Paul Kaufman brandish unloaded shotguns outside Arrowhead Stadium. "We're looking for scabs," they said. Linebacker Jack Del Rio accused...
Jesus fuck, dude. Yo, Philadelphia's nuts, dude. Actually fucking insane. Actually insane. That was Kansas? Oh, I thought it was Philadelphia. My bad.
accuses Otis Taylor of crossing the picket line and assaults him. What Del Rio doesn't know is that
Oh,
Taylor,
it's
one of
Chief.
the Chiefs' all-time greatest players, works for the team as a scout and has been retired for 12 years.
Fuck those union cunts. What? Are you alright, buddy? You've been here for 5 months. You're saying fuck those union cunts? Like, what the fuck do you mean? It's called fucking, that's called labor militancy, dude. The fuck?
St. Louis. Pete Noga, whose dream was to play on the Cardinals with his older brother Nico, was cut by the team in August. He crosses the picket line in preparation for the only 3 NFL games he'll ever play, and he'll play them without Nico, who remains on strike. In what is hopefully only a cruel coincidence, the Cardinals take Nico's old number, 57, and assign it to Pete. He'll be wearing his brother's jersey. They don't speak to each other as Pete crosses the picket line. "It's like backstabbing him," he says. But no team is more divided than the Cowboys. This isn't Philadelphia, this is Dallas. There just isn't much of a union culture down here. When fans cross the picket line to go to replacement games, they actually stop to ask the picketing players for autographs, not realizing they're undermining them just by showing up. They don't seem to understand what the strike is even about. But no one's doing more to divide the players than Cowboys owner Tex Schramm. Schramm is the most effective strike buster in the NFL. He's also the kind of man who will tell you that the World War II internment of Japanese Americans was cool and call you a commie SOB if you don't agree with him. His franchise quarterback reportedly owes more than $200,000 to various debtors. Schramm seems to know this because the Cowboys offer White a salary advance of $300,000 to cross the picket line and play during the strike. He does. So do others, including Randy White. His teammate, star running back Tony Dorsett, is furious. He gives White a new nickname, Captain Scab. "He let us down as captain," he says. Word of this gets to Schramm, who writes Dorsett a letter. "If you miss any games because of this strike..."
It's kind of sad to think about, but like a lot of these dudes that, I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of these dudes that fucking are still alive and haven't died yet are probably all like Trump supporters now too. You know what I mean? Just so many people that participated and benefited greatly from having stronger unions in this country are now like fucking QAnon Trump supporters that fucking think unions are actually communism. Herschel Walker is now running for Senate in Georgia as a Republican. They got theirs, so fuck anyone else. My grandpa was a union factory guy and voted red. Dude, the only thing that kept so many, like Western Pennsylvania, okay, Ohio, the only thing that kept a lot of these areas, even West Virginia, Blue, well, there was two reasons in some of these areas. Obviously, fucking racism, but also unions. So when you fucking destroy unions, you destroy any sort of fucking labor organizing. Did I say Virginia again instead of West Virginia? I always fuck it up. I said Western PA and Ohio, and then West Virginia. So when you destroy unions, there's no longer any sort of like momentum. There's no vehicle to like get these hawks to recognize that, like, you know, this is how we have power. This is how we have power in the workplace, and this is how we have political power on top of that.
You also will be missing plenty of meals for the rest of your life. Schramm threatens to revoke $6 million in Dorset's annuity payments. It's a price too steep for Dorset to pay. Days after calling his teammate Captain Scab, a humiliated Dorset becomes a scab himself and plays alongside him. Schramm is prying his players off the picket line with surgical precision. He knows how to hit his players right where it hurts. His reward is a team that's still mostly made up of replacement players and a handful of resentful superstars to lead them against their polar opposites, the Philadelphia Eagles. October 11th, day 20 of the strike. In a game too ugly to revisit in detail, the Cowboys thump an Eagles roster made up entirely.
This subhuman piece of shit literally told the player, here's what you have to understand. We're the ranchers and you're the cattle, and we can always get more cattle. Yeah, damn straight you can't, though. That's precisely why he tried his very best to like, you know, pick the union apart by, you know, paying as many people as he could to get scabs. Like, not that easy. It's not that fucking simple, is it?
Entirely of replacement players. Stars like White and Dorsett only played a couple of series, but their mere presence was an affront to the Eagles, who were getting clobbered as a reward for doing their part and remaining unified. Coach Buddy Ryan can only stand and watch an inept shadow of his team get embarrassed by its arch-rival. All along, Buddy has been privately supporting the strike. He's told his players, do what you need to do. He respects them, and they respect him. But he hates this. If every team were like the Eagles, the strike might have been effective, but too many teams were like the Cowboys. The union is eroding. By October 3rd, 86 players have left the union. 4 days later, the number was in the triple digits. By day 24 of the strike, 228 players, nearly 15% of the league, had crossed the picket line. Their only means of...
No one cares about unions unless it's for actors, athletes, or police. So basically, wealthy workers or entities that protect capital. Wait, that's what you got out of that? That's insane, dude. How could you ever compare the police union to the fucking athlete players union or actors unions, dude? That's terrible. Are you kidding me? Athletes are still fucking workers, okay? They might own capital on outside of that. But like, no, the players union is profoundly important, in my opinion. Same with fucking actors unions, the SAG-AFTRA. Like, these are incredibly important unions because if they were to... No, police are class traders, okay? You could say police are workers too, but they're class traders. They work in the interest of capital. They break strikes. Athletes do not do that. The NFLPA is a terrible union. Dude, that is such a dumb fucking take because without the NFL Players Union or the Players Association, it would be significantly worse. You understand that, right? No matter what you say, there is not a single instance, with the exception of police unions, obviously, there's not a single instance where, like, the workers would be better off without the fucking union. No matter how corrupt a union might be, no matter how terrible a union might be, it's still the best possible way for workers to organize as a counterweight to the unfettered, uncontrollable amount of power that the capital owner has. You don't even watch football, so how would you know, lol? It doesn't matter. I don't need to watch football to know that fucking the NFL Players Union works. And without it, in its absence, the situation would be significantly worse. That's just how unions work, dude. That's how unions operate. And yes, I also do know that the NFL Players Association is nowhere near as good as the NBA union. I know that, yes. Watching football helps you understand the union's law? Yeah, totally. I know. That's why I have so many fucking football fans in here that are a big union supporters. That's why every football fan is a union supporter. I'd argue that the Kroger union is really bad. I made more money and didn't pay dues at a non-union grocery store. What? I can't speak on the Kroger union, but do you perhaps think that maybe the non-union grocery store was in a fucking better neighborhood? Like there's probably other underlying circumstances there. You know, do you really think that that's a good argument when even the presence of unionization, even if there aren't collective bargaining agreements that over-encompass the entirety of the labor force, like that is the case in France, don't you maybe think that there is at least empirical evidence that even the presence of unions increases, first of all, unionization increases your the average salary by 10%, but even when you're non-unionized, you still benefit from it because then other places like the other Kroger non-union grocery store you went to improve their salaries in an effort to make sure that you never unionize, but at least like still offer competitive wages. I think it's what is it, like 8% if you're not, it's like an 8% increase or like 4% increase if you're non-union, but the presence of union still improves you don't get the benefits, but you will still increase your wages.
Leverage was vanishing.
Wait, Kroger union sucks because Kroger, the grocery store, owns the union themselves and they have a no strike clause? The fuck? That's not a union. What the fuck? Union wages drive non-union wages. If it weren't for unions, we would all be slum puppies. I mean, most people are slum puppies regardless. Maybe because of the American labor force being only 11% unionized. Well, that's not a fucking union then. Whoever said that. Kroger. I did not know that. I did not know that there was it was like a company union. The SEIU Local 1000 for CA state workers is a no strike clause. One of those arguments I hear is that a union protects bad workers. They don't realize that bad is in the eye of the company or eye of the employer, and any worker can be subjected to be fired. Yes. The Postal Service has a no strike clause as well. Yeah, that makes sense. Like the one issue that is the one fucking service that does make sense, I guess, but yeah, air traffic controllers, like there's certain industries where it does make sense. No union should have a no strike clause. Yeah, except if the postal service doesn't. If the postal service strikes, people die. So, like a lot of people die actually. Like it's a little different. Using reactionary unions to further socialism was a big debate in the early 20th century circles.
The strike was over. The 1987 NFL players' strike enters history as an absolute failure. The players lost millions of dollars and received none of the things they wanted. After 3 replacement games, the Eagles and the rest of the Cowboys returned to the field to face each other again.
I guess they shouldn't have a no strike clause, to be honest. Now that I think about it, that just means more bargaining power.
It's a hard-fought game. The video yearbook of the 1987 Eagles, produced by NFL Films, captures Randall Cunningham.
Even when a union can't technically strike, they do slowdowns. Like, I hate to use this as an example because it's like not a real union, the police union. It's a fucking fake union. But, you know, they will do slowdowns or AKA the blue flu. And when they actually end up doing slowdowns, for example, crime decreases. It's not even a joke. It's surreal. But, you know, that's a cool thing. How is it a fake union? Like, it's a fake union in the sense that, like, there's a fucking reason why it's the most powerful union in this country, dude. It's because they don't threaten the interests of capital. Unions, by the very definition of its existence, is a threat to capital, okay? It's literally there so that, you know, workers can organize and collectively bargain against capital, the capital owner, the boss, okay? It's a counterweight. Cops do not need such a thing. They just have it for the fun of having it, I guess. Like, they don't need it. They are literally the ones who fucking break the strikes. They are the strike breakers. There's a reason why cops are called class traitors. Because while they are still a part of the working class, they work against it and undermine the efforts of the working class. They have historically and still in contemporary society work against it. They're like the automatic scabs. Also, police unions are used to protect murderers. You know? Like I said, there's a reason why they are the only powerful union in this country, or the most powerful union in this country.
Ham's best gain on the ground. As with the strike, the line collapses around him. As with the strike, he holds firm. Days ago, these players were holding signs in parking lots. It's such an odd sight. A game in which everyone on the field has lost. But the Eagles' greatest play of the game, of the entire season, wasn't shown on this NFL Films production. It's just too hideous. It's too mean.
After those replacement games, we were kind of upset, but we hung together as a team, and it showed here today, and we're glad we got a coach like Buddy Ryan.
Congratulations again, Randall. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
So Philadelphia has put this one away. They lead 30-20 in the final minute of the game, and all that's left to do is take a knee. So they do on first down, and they do on second down. And if they're any other team, at any other time, they kneel on third down to end the game.
If the only punishment for a crime is a monetary one, then it is only a crime for the poor, and the enforcement of those crimes therefore makes all cops class traitors. Yes. If there's only a monetary fine for a crime, that means that it is exclusively a crime for the poor. That means that rich people can get away with doing it. You are correct. Joe Rogan had Amanda Knox on? What the fuck? Okay, I'm gonna go back. He's just doing his fucking Adam Curtis shit right now, dude. John Bois is on his Adam Curtis shit.
Dallas certainly will only improve that. Now Cunningham's going to throw it to Quick.
This is how you use play calling to flip the bird. It was an unmistakable gesture of contempt. Everyone on the field had already lost. The owners had broken them. Now there was nothing left for them to do but break each other. Remarkably, Cowboys cornerback Ron Francis has the awareness to break up the play. It probably helped that some of the Eagles, out of a sense of guilt, tipped off the Cowboys and let them know a pass was coming. But Randall Cunningham isn't sorry. Just weeks ago, he watched the Cowboys effectively burn his effigy on television. This is vengeance. Pass interference is called, but the point has been made. Everyone can go home. Right after they hit him, right in the mouth. After the game, Tex Schramm was furious beyond words, but a year later he said it bordered on being an ethical question. Tom Landry, who had coached the Cowboys for 28 years, said nothing. Not in the moment, not after the game, not ever. He left the field without a word. He had never seen anything like it, a fake kneel pass with an insurmountable lead in the last minute of a game. To this day, it's the only time it's ever been done in the NFL. This little victory was purely symbolic. That's the only victory to be found for the Eagles, a small victory nested within a grand failure. After all, the Cowboys would go on to win 3 Super Bowls, while the Eagles are still waiting for their first. But here's a small victory within it. Over the next 2 years, these two rosters had to pick up the pieces and play as a team. The Cowboys did this. The Eagles, who remained unified, did that.
Dude, there's something wrong with me. I don't know what it is, but no, Formula One is not gonna happen. Stop. The one fucking chatter who's a Formula One fan. So I don't know what it is, but for the past couple of days, like I feel like my sinuses are full or something. Like it feels like there's water in my inside of my head. Does that make sense? Like when I it's not COVID, dude. I got tested for COVID. It's like a weird I don't even feel stuffy per se, but I feel like there's a lot of pressure in my head, and it feels like I have pressure inside of my head, and it feels like it's like a weird water. How do I describe it? You have internal bleeding, go to the ER. What the fuck? Okay, I should never, ever, ever, ever bring this up in front of 30,000 people, because it's like, it's literally the dumbest fucking people on the planet. My nose is not congested. Like I can breathe. It's just weird. Like it feels like there's like, you know when you're you know when you try to pop your ears? It feels like that. Anyway, let's watch Amanda Knox.
Influence and sort of cronyism, like being deeply attached to the criminal justice.
I don't remember the details of this case. Did she did it or no?
The system
Did she do it
for
or
many,
no?
many years over there, being respected and being a part of this investigative world where they're all the cops and they're all just like they know each other and you know they look out for each other.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they didn't change their story once they had all the DNA evidence of that Rudy guy, and then it was all over that. They didn't go, okay, we've made a mistake, and instead they doubled down. And not only that, but didn't go after him for the murder.
Well, they did.
But they didn't convict him of the murder, I should say.
So what
did they convict him of?
So they convicted him of her rape because it was only his DNA that was found inside of her body. And they convicted him of conspiracy to commit murder. So basically taking part in a murder, but not being the one to actually plunge the knife.
But this was a fabrication by this is the prosecutor's idea, that he was there with Raffaele and that you guys held her down.
Yes. So they say that the scenario that my prosecutor painted, and he painted a few different scenarios because he couldn't really, like, his imagination was going wild and there wasn't a lot of actual obviously there wasn't any evidence to support any of them, but he kept thinking, okay, it's the day after Halloween, so maybe it's a satanic sex ritual. We know that there's some kind of sex thing involved. We know that Amanda is we know that Amanda has sex with people, so she's probably a sexually obsessed person, and Meredith looked down on her for being a sexually obsessed person. So what is likely to have happened in his brain is that I was hanging out with Raffaele and Rudy. Meredith comes home. She starts scolding me for my bad morals, and then I'm like, you know what, bitch? We're going to rape you and kill you. That's his scenario. And it's so unfortunate on so many levels because it says more about him than it says about anyone else that he would imagine that's.
Should we watch the Amanda Knox video before we get into this? Does anyone have a good explainer for Amanda Knox? Who cares, bro? Move on.
This episode is brought to you by Dashlane. Never forget another password and keep all your credentials secure by signing up for a free.
I did that thing that Chatter suggested I do with pushing my tongue up to the roof of my mouth for 30 seconds, and I feel like it helped. Good job, Chatter.
Free account today. An American student was tried and convicted of murder when her British roommate was found stabbed to death in the house that they shared. All evidence suggested she was not at home when the murder took place. Nevertheless, she was sentenced to a quarter of a century in an Italian prison until she won
a quarter of a century, dude? Bro, that fucking captain that... oh my god. That captain that murked 30 got fucking 16 years, dude. The captain that murked 30. He killed 33 people and he got fucking 16 years after 5 years of like evading the law. She got 25 years.
Appeal and was set free until standing trial once again. She was found guilty once more until finally the decision was overturned once more in a legal case with more twists and turns than a theme park.
Wait, Italian prison? Holy shit, kill me? Are you fucking kidding me? Nearly every other country's prison system is better than the American prisons. Like, especially European prisons. Like, Italian prisons are probably, like, not great, but nothing in comparison to American prisons. Are you whew. I'd literally be rather in a Turkish prison, which is kind of funny. Yo, this is so cute. Most third world country prisons are literally torture. What do you think happens in American prison, dude? There's a reason why Norway refused to extradite prisoners to America. Because they think it's a human rights violation. The fuck do you mean? Like, the irony is Midnight Express made it seem like Turkish prisons are like some of the worst prisons on the planet. I've never watched it because, you know, it's a shame. It brings shame to Turkey. But like, Turkish prisons are literally better than American prisons. I will fucking stand by that. I know there's probably some Turks in here that are gonna fucking be like, no, bro, fuck you, bro, you're wrong, bro. But like, no, literally. Turkish prisons are better than American prisons. Maybe not all of them, but most Turkish prisons are better than American prisons.
Park roller coaster. So just who was this American woman and how did she find herself in this wild situation? That's what we'll find out. In this episode of the Infographics Show, who was Amanda Knox and is she innocent? Amanda Knox grew up in Seattle with a younger sister and two stepsisters. Her mother was a teacher and her father worked in the finance department of a local Macy's.
It's so funny. Angola prison in Louisiana is literally a labor camp with chain gangs. And the sheriffs will like openly state it too. Like, a person who is seen as a liberal superstar that was slated to break the glass ceiling, Hillary Clinton, openly wrote in her fucking book, okay? Openly wrote in her book about how wonderful it was that she had slaves in the governor's mansion. Okay? Like actual black slaves from the prison system working at the governor's mansion, dude. Like, you guys are nuts. People all this is American exceptionalism, I swear to God. You've never even been to prison, you don't know what it's like? Yeah, motherfucker, I wasn't alive through most of the fucking history that I covered too. It's called reading a book. I don't know if you know this, but like, hogs are so funny when they're like, dude, you've never even been to prison. Like, what, you need to experience everything? The fuck? There's such a thing as like reading. I don't know if you know that, but it's so strange.
She grew up in a middle-class neighborhood and was an athlete, excelling at soccer and earning the nickname Foxy Noxy. Amanda first went to Italy when she was a teenager and visited Rome, Pisa, the Amalfi Coast, and the ruins of Pompeii with her family. She became fascinated with the country after reading Under the Tuscan Sun by Frances Mays. She graduated from Seattle Prep School in 2005 and studied linguistics at the University of Washington. She worked part-time jobs to fund an academic year in Italy. Amanda was a normal college student. She liked to throw wild parties and was well liked by her peers. To further her studies in linguistics, she left Washington for Perugia, Italy, where she intended to spend a year at a university foreign student program. As things turned out, she ended up staying much longer. She roomed with 21-year-old Meredith Kircher from London, who was studying in the same program.
Wait, this is fucking me up. Why is, first of all, the infographic shows the worst way to learn about anything. Okay, like literally the worst way, because like I can't pay attention because like everything is so weird. Why are there 3 different art styles? Like, is this a different race of human? Is this a different race? Like, this is an orc? What's up with this? Like, what's happening here? I can't. This sucks.
A little while after their arrival at Perugia, Amanda and Meredith attended a classical music concert where they bumped into engineering student Rafael Solicito. Amanda fell head over heels for this dude, who she said looked like a young Italian Harry Potter with rimless glasses and a floppy fringe. She soon started living with the young Italian, and she liked crashing at Solicito's student apartment. Because he was a bit of a loner, he lived by himself, and the couple could get some privacy in the place set up by Solicito's wealthy urologist father. The only problem with the apartment was that it was prone to flooding, and on one fateful morning, Amanda decided to leave the building while her boyfriend spoke to his dad about the plumbing. Knox left for her own building that she shared with Kircher and the 2 Italians to grab a shower and freshen up. Arriving back at the place, she noticed things weren't quite right. The front door to the premises had been left ajar. She called out and silence answered her. Kircher's door was shut and Amanda assumed she was asleep. After taking a shower, she noticed drops of blood in the sink. Then after going into the second bathroom, she noticed somebody had defecated in the toilet without flushing. This was most strange. Knowing her roommates wouldn't have forgotten to flush, she began to panic. She fled back to her Italian lover. She returned later with her boyfriend Solicito to check for signs of a break-in. Her own room appeared to be untouched. They were unable to break into Kircher's room. Solicito called the Italian military police and 2 officers arrived at the scene. The officers who arrived were postal police officers and not equipped to deal with a violent crime. As a result, the crime scene was botched with untrained officers letting the students roam around, and when they finally broke into the bedroom and found Kircher's body, all the students present ran out onto the street screaming. Both Amanda Knox and Rafael Solicito were taken in for questioning for 5 days.
Bro, Italy is just so funny to me as a country. That is the most Italian story I've ever heard, dude. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck we're doing here. Yeah, just open it. It's just...
They were heavily interrogated. Amanda's mother pleaded with her to flee the country, but she remained in Perugia despite the increasing implications. Under heavy questioning, Solicito admitted that Amanda may have been able to leave his apartment at night and go back to her main residence. Cops presented this scenario to Amanda, who signed a report saying,
Okay, what is this? Amanda Knox documentary BBC? Oh, this is the one.
Pronto, buongiorno. Senta, qualcuno è praticamente entrato in casa sfondando la finestra e ha messo molto disordine, c'è una porta chiusa.
On November the 2nd, 2007, police in Perugia receive a phone call. There's been a break-in. When police arrive, they discover a young woman has been stabbed to death. She's Meredith Kircher, a British student, a girl with everything to live for. For 7 years...
They do have drip, though. Italian cops, like, they got the fucking cool-ass berets and shit.
Her American flatmate, Amanda Knox, was the center of a...
Why is Duchess so disrespectful to anyone who isn't American? What the fuck? Dude, are you dumb? We're Americans who fucking shit on America literally 24/7. So the one moment that we like let a fraction of that seep out towards the British, oh my God, or the Italians, like everyone loses their fucking shit. Dude, we spend like, out of 8 hours every day, we spend like 6 of them shitting on America. Okay? Like, I think fucking the British can catch these hands a little bit too. Jesus Christ. And the Italians too. Fuck. You stereotype as fuck, but who cares? Yeah, it's a joke. Yeah, I know. I do stereotype a lot.
Media and judicial storm accused of Meredith's murder. In 2015, the murder convictions of Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito were overturned once and for all.
She deserved so much in this life. I'm the lucky one.
The family of Meredith Kercher feels let down by the Italian judiciary for the contradictory verdicts it has produced over nearly 8 years. Meredith Kercher grew up in Croydon, South London. In August 2007, a new university year is about to start. Meredith, now 21, prepares to leave for the ancient and peaceful hilltop city of Perugia, Italy.
She was very excited about coming to Italy, looking forward to learning more about Italian culture, seeing the city of Perugia and making new friends. And she really fought to come here. She really wanted to be here.
Mez, as everyone calls her, is studying European politics and Italian at Leeds. Now she has an exchange year in Italy, a country she's been in love with since a school trip. But saying goodbye to her sister Stephanie isn't easy.
We were just talking on the sofa and having a little cuddle goodbye, and then I just remember
Such based takes from people who have never been to jail. This is sad as fuck. Okay, I'm banning you just for this. This is the most disgusting thing you could ever type. Okay? No rehabilitation here.
her suddenly crying and saying that she was going to be sad to go, but she was excited to come. And I remember being quite taken aback, so I thought, don't make me sad, I'll miss you, but you'll go and have fun.
She leaves on September the 1st and quickly afterwards moves into the upstairs flat of this cottage with 3 housemates, 2 young Italian trainee lawyers and a student on exchange from the United States, 20-year-old Amanda Knox. Amanda has travelled almost 6,000 miles from Seattle on the northwest coast to study Italian in Perugia. Photogenic, outgoing, and describing herself as quirky, Amanda Knox loves the Beatles and Harry Potter. She's been studying at university and has worked 3 jobs to pay for her Italian adventure. She is very different from the quiet and studious Meredith. While housemates, there is said to be tension over Amanda's supposedly casual attitude to sex, money, and housework. Within weeks, Amanda Knox lands a job in Perugia, working as a waitress at Le Chic, a pub owned by a popular musician from the Congo, Patrick Lumumba.
She gave me the impression of a good person. If she wasn't a good person, she wouldn't have worked here. That doesn't mean that her relationship with clients pleased me, because she often talked to the clients, and I had to tell her to get back to work.
On October the 25th, Amanda and Meredith go to a classical music concert together, where Amanda meets Italian student Raffaele Sollecito. He looks like her favourite, Harry Potter, and the two begin a whirlwind romance. Described by friends as intelligent and sensitive, the handsome Raffaele has come to Perugia to study information technology. A week later, October the 31st, it is Halloween, and in Perugia, like every other university town, it's party time. It is one of Meredith's favourite nights out, and she is dressed as a vampire. These will turn out to be among the last photographs of her alive. Happy, full of life, and completely at home with her new friends. What happens on the night of November the 1st, 2007, has been the subject of 3 trials, 3 appeals, and 3 Supreme Court rulings. The story has more twists and turns than the medieval streets of Perugia itself. The story starts at 9 o'clock in the morning on the 2nd of November, when a local woman finds 2 mobile phones in her garden. She takes them to the postal police, which handles crimes involving communication devices. They quickly discover one of the phones is registered to Via della Pergola 7, a small cottage just 500 meters away. When police arrive here, they see 2 students in the driveway, Amanda Knox and Raffaele Solle.
Is that Harry Potter? Oh my god, he looks just like Italian Harry Potter.
They tell the police the front door is open and one room has been ransacked. Police go into the house. One bedroom's a mess. Clothes are all over the floor and a large rock is lying near the window. Shortly after the postal police arrive, around 12:51, Raffaele Sollecito calls the elite police force, the Carabinieri. He doesn't mention that the postal police are already there and says nothing's been stolen. Details prosecutors would later claim are significant.
Pronto, buongiorno. Senta, qualcuno è praticamente entrato in casa sfondando la finestra e ha messo molto disordine, c'è una porta chiusa. La via è... Via della Pergola. Perugia Carabinieri? Della Pergola 7. Via? Della Pergola 7 a Perugia.
Furto in abitazione, eh?
No, non c'è furto.
I'm going to turn off here.
Amanda says she's worried about her friend Meredith. Her door's locked. She's not answering the phone. When the door is broken down, they discover a beige duvet on the floor. Beneath it, the battered and bloody body of Meredith Kircher.
Kind of fucked up. They just straight show it, by the way.
Prosecutor Giuliano Mignini arrives.
This guy.
Just after 2 p.m. He finds Meredith is partially naked, her bra's been cut off, and her t-shirt rolled up above her breasts. It looks like a sexual assault.
When you start an investigation, you don't know what happened. You have to slowly reconstruct the situation.
Forensics teams work inside and outside the cottage. Right away, they think it's a staged break-in. Glass shards are on top rather than underneath the scattered clothes. The large rock seems too heavy to be thrown from the ground to the first floor window, and too big to go through the small crack between the shutters. A handbag, jewelry case, camera, and laptop computer are lying in full view. There's a lot.
They don't show anything but a foot? Dude, that's crazy though. That's still the fucking dead body under covers. Like, it's a wild thing to show.
Bloody shoe prints from Meredith's room to the front door. And in the bathroom, a bloody bare footprint is on the bath mat. Over 4 days, investigators collect more than 400 items from the apartment, photographing and filming their work. Meredith's bra has been sliced off, but when police bag it for evidence, they notice something is missing.
Sì, è stato strappato, manca la parte dei gancetti.
È stato strappato.
Questa, sì, qui è uscita la parte dei gancetti. Il maschio della grappina.
Bro, they're fucking... I swear to God, like... Their operating procedure is so funny. I'm sorry. It's like... I feel like it's just so Italian. You know what I mean? Hey, look at that. The bra, it does not have a hook. Yes, it's crazy. What the fuck? They're just like talking.
Sì.
Però il fatto l'unica cosa è che è intriso di sangue, quindi questo ce l'aveva nel momento in cui è stata ammazzata.
Somehow, the investigators...
You must be really mad that you weren't man enough to serve after 9/11. Some of us did go. I never committed any war crimes, as you repeat over and over again. Learn how to actually debate your troll. Bro, this guy is still in here, bro. We moved past it, okay? Yeah, dude, you're a brave hero. You know, thank you. Thank you for defending our freedom of speech by fucking, you know, terrifying goat herders and their families in Afghanistan. Okay, thank you for protecting the American interest. Thank you for protecting Halliburton's interest in your 2 tours in Iraq, where you defended the Ministry of Energy. Okay, you fucking did it. Why are you still debating people, bro? Holy shit.
leave without it, a critical error that will haunt the prosecution case. The autopsy shows Meredith has been strangled and stabbed on 2 sides of the neck, possibly with 2 different knives. The second fatal stab severed her thyroid artery.
1735?
There are 40 wounds, too many, police believe, for one assailant to have inflicted alone. The prosecution's view of what happened, later disputed by the defense, is shown in this reconstruction. Meredith was trained in karate and must...
Bro, it's fucked up because, like, I'm responding to people who are extremely disrespectful and I have a right to do so. If you don't like it, ban me. Until then, I will exercise the rights I fought for. Bro, you are so fucking insane. Like, you really think you fought? Bro, if you really fucking fought and got PTSD to, like, be able to debate your fucking... You know, to be able to debate in a Twitch chat, like, that's so sad, dude. I mean, it's a self-report, dude. It's literally a self-report that, like, you kind of did it for nothing, okay? Also, your name is Slaying Bodies, so good luck. Like, good luck convincing people that, you know, you're all there right now when your fucking name is Slaying Bodies and you're defending, you know, Afghanistan and Iraq. Please explain. I do want to know though how people actually think. Like, what do you think? Like, you think fucking Ahmed was gonna take away my free speech, dude? Is that what was gonna go on? Like, you really think so, dude? Some fucking dudes that don't know where America is or have never even heard of America in the fucking mountainous region of Afghanistan, like those guys were gonna, they're like, listen, oh man, you know, when I went down to the city, I went to this internet cafe and I saw there is this thing called Fear Factor. Let me tell you something. Muhammad, let me tell you something. Ya Allah, these fucking Americans, they're eating snakes. They're eating spiders. This guy, Joe Rogan, is making them do this. We have to put an end to this. Like, that's how it works. The only thing that can stop me is the might of the American military. Otherwise, I am going to put an end to this.
must have encountered overwhelming force.
Una stessa persona non poteva contemporaneamente tenere.
One person couldn't, all at the same time.
Fuck you. I'm gonna fucking read this, okay? I'm gonna read it. I know it's a fucking bait, and I'm gonna read it anyway. Why are you making fun of him? He didn't do anything wrong. It's honestly kind of fucked. I don't know if I should even continue following you after this. He served his country, and you should respect that, to be honest. Just like we all should respect the top of the hour every 60-hour second ad break. He's right. It is top of the fucking hour. Slaying bodies. Put his body out there on the line and sacrifice so you, American chatter, could avoid the top of the hour 60-second ad break. That's right. That's the second time I've used him as a segue. I'm just going to keep using him for the rest of the day today. Okay? But if you want to avoid those ads at the top of the hour, there's a thing you can do. His take on his username. Any Marine would get it. It's an inside joke. At company formations, hundreds of us would yell slaying bodies. What? Raping women, eating babies? I get it sounds bad, but any vet know the cursing and dark sense of humor. We didn't do any of those things. And in 2006, when I made an Xbox gamer tag, I used slaying bodies, and I have ever since. Dude, come on, dude. I was a Marine for 5 years. We never once yelled slaying bodies. I was with an infantry unit. I was 4 years in the Marines, and I even cringed at dudes like this when I was enlisted. Bro, I love that he was like, it's not what you think, dude. It's not what you think. It's so much worse than you think. Okay? Like, it's so much worse, actually, which is fine, but it's like so much worse. I know it sounds fucked up, but it's actually fucked up. Like, it's really fucked up. Okay? Like, is this some fucking like left-wing troll that wanted to make veterans look worse? So they're just like actually using inside jokes to like explain to 30,000 unsuspecting individuals. They're like, no, it's actually so much worse than you think. Yeah, you know, what's at least he chose slaying bodies and not the other two. You know what I mean? He chose the least worst out of all the three things. Not fake. I found his YouTube and he's the most yee ass motherfucker. Listen, brother. Listen, brother, you had to be there. Dude. Sorry, the eating babies one was taken, so I went with slaying bodies. Bro. You know, sometimes you just gotta keep those inside jokes inside. How can you talk about this guy but gloss over the fact that you were racially insensitive towards Nicki Minaj? Shut the fuck up. Oh, that's a good one. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Wait, you found his Twitch? Okay, I feel bad, dude. I don't want to. Okay, stop. I don't even want to look at it. It's just like, I feel bad. Let's just stop. Let's stop. Let's get back to the fucking video. No. I don't want to. You guys are. Come on. First of all, it's not a dox. He's literally fucking streaming on Twitch and shit. Look. Everybody stop, okay? You're all fucking dorks too. And he's a dork, but at least he's like here long enough to like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just sad, dude. Come on. Anyway, I forgot to run the ad, by the way. Here, I'm running it now. I'm here as a Republican to broaden my horizon. I didn't foresee this shit. Don't blame me for having views like everyone else here. Yeah, we know, brother. You're talking. One day you'll change, okay? Hopefully. Like, stop saying dumb shit in the chat. Like, you weren't man enough to serve after 9/11. Like, you're not gonna win any favors in this chat. I'm letting you know. I understand military infantry culture is fucked. Watch Vet TV if you want a clue about vet culture. Yeah, I know. I know, dude. I understand. I'm just going to let you know there's a lot of veterans in here who did serve after 9/11. The difference between you and them is that they're not extending the fucking brain poison, okay? There's also active military here right now. So, you know, that's the difference. We're making fun of you not because you're a vet. We're making fun of you because you're a vet who, like, is at the precipice of recognizing that you got fucked over by the government, and yet you still are, for some reason, refusing to recognize it and yelling at, like, random strangers on the internet about how they need to respect you or something. He's not close at all. I mean, I think he's closer than most chuds if he's in here. If he found himself questioning certain things. Nice to see you leave him alone once you saw his face as if he wasn't a real human beforehand. Shut up, bitch. Shut the fuck up, you little bitch. Engineered as fuck. None of you motherfuckers treat me like a real human either, okay? I'm a dancing monkey behind a fucking screen and you see my face every goddamn day. So shut the fuck up, you anonymous poster bitch. Oh my God. It's the internet. All right, let's go.
Hold Meredith still and hold back her hands because there are very few defensive wounds. Inflict those wounds with a smaller knife and then give her the fatal blow with the larger knife. It is impossible. Not even Superman could do it.
Cioè, è impossibile, neanche Superman ci riuscirebbe.
The behavior of Amanda Knox and her boyfriend attracts attention. Meredith's friends tell police that, far from appearing distraught, Amanda and Raffaele have been seen laughing and joking. A vigil is held for Meredith, but Amanda and Raffaele don't attend. They go for dinner at a friend's instead. and the prosecutor recalls why he was concerned by Amanda's behavior.
Quando furono portate queste ragazze a vedere I coltelli che c'erano nella
When the girls were brought to see the knives that were in the kitchen, the reaction of Amanda, it was a reaction. She put her hands on her ears, as if she were trying to block out a terrible sound she was hearing in her ears. It was like she was having a nervous breakdown.
Ebbe proprio un cedimento nervoso.
Yo, is that girl kissing Harry Potter?
And then there was this, one of the defining images of the case. Amanda and Raffaele kissing outside the cottage where Meredith was murdered. Her supporters say this was only natural.
Did they comfort each other? We've seen that famous footage of the two of them together. They did. What's wrong with any of that? Nothing. It did appear to be wrong to some authorities.
November the 5th, 4 days after the murder. Raffaele Sollecito is called in for questioning. Amanda goes with him, and once again her behavior seems odd. She does yoga and the splits in the waiting room.
Bro, it's because she's from fucking... It's because she's an American white girl, dude. That's why. Like, for the rest of the world, they're just gonna look like murderers. All Americans, okay? I mean, look at the fucking slaying bodies guy. Like, that's the average American, dude. We do. We have murder culture. It's, like, very weird. In many ways, like, we're more desensitized to murder than, like, a fucking child soldier. You know what I mean? It's just, we also think it's also righteous. That's the other thing. You know, we just... It's just how it is.
At this point, the couple's alibi appears
Normal Americans wouldn't do yoga while waiting to interview about her dead roommate. You think slaying bodies wouldn't be doing fucking yoga, dude? You kidding me? Oh, dude, slaying bodies 100% is a meme now. I'm sorry.
Fall apart. Amanda had told police she'd spent the night of the murder at Raffaele's apartment.
Is there any Republican views you agree on? No. Like, not a single one.
They cooked, watched a film, made love, smoked marijuana, and went to bed. But separately, Raffaele's story begins to change. He's no longer sure if Amanda was with him all night. Amanda's called in for more questioning. As she is only a witness at this stage, an interpreter is present, but she has no legal representation. What happens next is crucial and one of the most controversial twists in the story. Police ask Amanda Knox about text messages on her phone. In particular, a message from her boss, Patrick Lumumba.
Don't come to work tonight because there aren't enough clients. It's like Sunday. I sent that message not to come.
Amanda had texted back, "See you later." She says she just meant see you around. But police now want to know. Had Amanda arranged to meet Lumumba later that evening and taken him to her house? At 1:45 in the morning, Amanda...
Okay, it kind of feels like they just kind of ran with it because she was sus. Like, she was fucking sus. And then, like, they literally tied everything back to her. Like, that's so weird. What a weird thing to just, like, be like, oh, she must be a murderer. She said, I will see you later. Like, what the fuck? That's so, it's kind of silly. Like, yeah, she's fucking weird. She's like doing yoga and shit.
Breaks down.
She says she had entered the house with him because he was attracted to Meredith and wanted to be with Meredith. And she stayed in the kitchen and heard Meredith's screams, and he was the assassin. That's what she said.
Police believe Amanda Knox's story. They raid Patrick Lumumba's home and...
Oh, dude. Good boys. Good to see that cops universal rule, dude. Yo, blame the black guy immediately, dude. Nice, good going, Italy. This is the point where fucking every European says, oh, racism is an American thing. What the fuck?
Take him in. Within hours, his photo flashes around the world as one of the murder suspects. But for the...
I mean, this is literally the country we're talking about where they throw bananas at black football players, so... That is true. Yeah. Let's not forget.
Police. Amanda Knox has now gone from witness to suspect. If she's taken Lumumba to Meredith, she must have been at the house.
Lei si è posta nel luogo del delitto.
She put herself at the scene of the crime. She admitted to accompanying Lumumba as if she were an accomplice in his project. She was in the room next door when the crime happened, in her version. This fact pushed the police to suspend the audition in order to protect her rights.
Ha spinto la polizia per ragioni di garanzia a sospendere l'audizione.
November the 6th, 2007. Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito are arrested. Waiting to be taken to jail, Amanda makes another attempt to tell police what happened with Lumumba by writing out an explanation in English. She tells the police it's a present.
In my mind, I saw Patrick in flashes of blurred images. I saw him near the basketball court. I saw him at my front door. I saw myself cowering in the kitchen with my hands over my ears, because in my head I could hear Meredith screaming. But I have said this many times so as to make myself clear. These things seem unreal to me, like a dream.
Okay, dude, did she do it? What the fuck? I keep flipping. I'm sorry, but like, she's so sus, dude. What the fuck? Why is she so weird? I mean, listen, like, being cringe is not a crime. And being sus is not a crime, but like, being sus during and after a crime can land you in jail.
I want to make it clear that I'm very doubtful of the verity of my statements because they were made under the pressure of stress, shock, and extreme exhaustion.
But despite her uncertainty, she doesn't retract her accusation. Lumumba remains in jail, pleading his innocence.
I'm sorry, but like, immediately and reflexively blaming the fucking immediate black guy you can think of, like the first black dude that you can think of. That's like, I mean, that's real fucked up.
In the city square, members of the African community protest his arrest.
The black man is always the thief and the assassin. She wanted them to believe what she was saying. It was just because I was black. She was looking for someone in society who was credible.
There was a moment when she should have actually retracted that story. There's a moment when she should have said, no, this is the wrong thing to do. He was thrown into jail for 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks, for something he did not do, and he lost his livelihood.
At this point, another African immigrant enters the story. 20-year-old Rudy Guede from the Ivory Coast is living in Perugia. Detectives find his bloody thumbprint on a pillowcase that was underneath Meredith's dead body. Because he's an immigrant, they have his prints on file. Police raid his tiny bedsit apartment and test his toothbrush for DNA. It matches traces found on Meredith's bra strap, on her body, and on the left sleeve of her pale
Jesus
blue
Christ.
sweatshirt.
Okay.
Rudy Guede has fled the country. He's arrested in Germany. Perugia attorney Walter Biscotti volunteers to defend him.
Incontrai questo ragazzo.
I met this young man in this prison in Schiffenstadt, Germany. And he seemed to me like a guy who was scared, someone who was in the middle of a story that was bigger than him. He was surprised to see a lawyer who arrived from Italy for him.
Un avvocato che era arrivato dall'Italia per lui.
Extradited back to Italy, Rudy Guede confirms to police that he's lived in the country since the age of 5. A keen basketball player, he'd met.
I know you like to be ethnic, but you wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for many patriots who fought for this nation. What? Oh God, it's not even a fucking bait, dude. Ew.
Amanda and Meredith after shooting hoops with students who lived in the apartment below theirs. They partied and smoked dope together. Meanwhile, the case against Patrick Lumumba, as outlined by Amanda Knox, collapses. A customer at the bar has given him an alibi and he's freed. How did Amanda Knox come to mention Lumumba's name to police? For the first time, we can hear an audio tape of her explanation to the prosecutor. A transcript of this was presented in court, but not the audio. Accompanied by 3 lawyers and an interpreter, on December the 17th, 2007, Knox is asked why she told police Lumumba committed the crime.
Perché se lo era immaginato?
Why? Why? I was stressed, I was scared, it was after long hours, it was in the middle of the night, I was innocent, and they were telling me that I was guilty.
Che cosa?
So I just blame the black guy, dude. Come on. She kind of hot though. Oh my God, dude. You're fucking. Guys, when I was being raised, I was stressed out, dude. What the fuck? Chill. God damn it, dude. I just fucking ruined a dude's life for no reason because I was stressed out. Stop, I'm crying.
Che cosa le diceva la polizia?
What did police tell you? The police were telling me that we know you're at our house, we know you left the house, and with the moment before I said Patrick's name, someone was showing me the message that I was sent on the phone.
Che cosa c'è di più normale che insistere? La polizia fa la sua parte.
I couldn't understand why they were telling me that I was lying. They kept telling me that I was lying.
Ma perché poi prima ci ha detto potrebbe...
Dude, you know what we found out here? White women tears do not work in Italian on Italian officers. Like, the guy sounds like he's just having none of it, dude. Like, it didn't work, and they still actually ended up arresting the black guy just because of racism. Like, they were like, we know you're fucking lying, but hey, if we can arrest this black guy for no reason, we're gonna do it.
essere vero.
It means that in that moment that I had said Patrick's name, I thought it could have been true.
So what's the extent of the police evidence at this point? It includes the knife found at Raffaele Sollecito's apartment that they believe could be the murder weapon. But they need more, so return to the crime scene. 46 days after the murder, they find Meredith's bra clasp under a mat. Using rubber gloves, they pick it up and inspect it. It will become the most controversial piece of evidence in the investigation. The defense will claim the delay in collecting it could have resulted in contamination. Investigators also, for the first time, use luminol to look for invisible bloodstains. 3 clear footprints appear, plus other small bloodstains. More new evidence, but it will be controversial. In Seattle, the campaign to prove Amanda is innocent is underway. Her family turned to a crisis communications firm and a group called Friends of Amanda.
It was just this kind of small group of people that were called the Americans in our offense. I think there was one quote that the Americans would send in the Marines to get Amanda Knox. I love Italy, I've been to Italy, and I have great respect for the courts. I do think we have a rogue prosecutor. In Italy, if you speak against
Eating babies. Why you make fun of my friend? Stop, dude. Oh, Twitch chat, please stop it, dude.
a prosecution, you can be prosecuted. So nobody can speak. And it's a perfect storm of a potentially very unfair prosecution.
Amanda Knox's DNA has been found mixed together with Meredith Kircher's in 5 blood stains in the flat. Plus, tests show the bare footprints made in blood match the size and shape of Amanda's and her boyfriend's.
Okay, I don't understand. So yeah, okay, Gigi no re, like she did it. What the fuck? With the other third guy. Like they're all guilty. I don't understand.
Feet. And the kitchen knife from Raffaele's apartment shows Amanda's DNA on the handle and a tiny trace of Meredith's DNA on the blade. The clock spins forward.
Obviously, her DNA would have been all over the apartment. No, but that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about the fucking blood. I mean, they're talking about the blood mixed with one another, though. And fucking blood-stained footprints and shit. Also, goddamn, Italian police are fucking so bad. Also, I cannot believe how bad the infographic video was, dude. Like, the Infographics Show video on this is so trivialized and reductive and so fucking stupid.
Almost 1 year to September 2008. Amanda Knox, Raffaele Sollecito and Rudy Guede appear before a judge in Perugia. With so much publicity now surrounding Knox, Guede opts to be tried quickly and separately.
I
was convinced that if he had been tried with the others, that with all the international media clamor and the international pressure there would have been surrounding this trial, they would have dumped all the blame on Rudy.
So you have to see the role that money plays, even be it the USA or even here, in your situation as a citizen or as a person, as a suspect, right? You're not. The justice system is not fair, no matter where you are, because money is going to play a role.
The prosecution's case is a tabloid editor's dream. They say Amanda Knox, Raffaele Sollecito and Rudy Guede killed Meredith Kircher in a sex game gone wrong. Guede denies this and pleads.
Okay, I feel like every part of this is bad. Like, she's sus, but then I feel like the prosecutors kind of like went with this like weird fucking narrative. Like, it just sounds like boomer shit. Oh, a sex game gone wrong. Like, they fucked this case up completely.
Not guilty. His defense is that he wasn't in the room when Meredith was murdered. He was in the bathroom.
Wait,
Meredith had invited him over, he said. When he got there, Meredith was furious because money was missing and she was blaming Amanda. He says he comforted Meredith and things got physical, but they didn't have full sex. He went to the toilet, then says he heard Amanda enter the apartment.
Lui ha sentito la voce di Amanda.
He heard Amanda's voice as she came in. He was in the bathroom, or just about to go into the bathroom, and then he really did put on his headphone and listen to music, rap, I think, at full volume, and then heard a scream. He came out and came up against a male figure.
Ha incrociato in questo corridoio una figura maschile.
Rudy Guede says this man lunged at him with a knife, cutting his hand. The attacker then yelled, "Black man found! Black man condemned," and ran away. Guede found Meredith bleeding in the other room. He tried to stem the blood flow with towels.
What?
And left a bloody thumbprint on the pillowcase. But the bleeding didn't stop, and Guede says he panicked.
Lui ha cercato di aiutarla.
He tried to help her. He took her in his arms and should have called for help, but he was scared and ran away, and he feels guilty for this.
Quindi lui per questo si sente colpevole.
Rudy Guede is found guilty of Meredith's murder and sentenced to 30 years.
Okay, dude, this guy went to jail for 30 fucking years, by the way. And I have to repeat myself one more time. This guy went to jail for 30 years. Italian ship captain that murdered 33 people went to jail for 16. What the fuck?
The judge's verdict says Rudy Guede did not act alone. He's led away to prison. Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito will now stand trial for the murder and sexual assault of Meredith Kircher. January the 16th, 2009. The trial begins. The world's media is focused on Amanda Knox. Her face fills the front pages. Could this attractive, bubbly, all-American girl be capable of murder? As they did at Rudy Guede's trial, the prosecution again suggests the murder was the result of a sex game gone wrong. Again, this is strongly denied. Amanda and Raffaele claim they weren't in the house that night. To support their case, the prosecution produces evidence they claim places the couple at the scene of the murder. First, there's the DNA found in the bathroom. The prosecution says it shows the mixed blood of Amanda Knox and Meredith Kircher in the bidet drain, the sink drain, and on a cotton bud box.
I mean, does DNA is so janky. A bidet, Chad, a bidet sink, a bidet drain. I think that's what she meant. DNA can be so unreliable in situations like that because, like, she's literally in that house. Like, this is the house that she lives in. So, of course, she's like, we're shedding all the time, right? So, I guess it depends, right? Like, it can totally be contaminated. I don't know if it, like, blood DNA is different, though. You know what I mean? Which is more racist, Alabama or the Italian judicial system? I don't know.
There is also a large drop of Amanda's blood on the bathroom tap. According to the prosecutor, this shows Amanda and Meredith were bleeding at the same time. Strong evidence there was a fight.
Le prove principali sono tracce di sangue misto.
The principal evidence was mixed blood traces from which were extracted mixed DNA of Amanda and Meredith. The only explanation for that mix is that Amanda was bleeding and touched objects that were covered in Meredith's blood. There's no other explanation.
But Amanda's lawyers say this proves nothing. Two young students living together means it's perfectly normal to find mixed blood and DNA in the bathroom. They say it's possible Amanda's DNA isn't from her blood at all, but from her saliva. Sarah Gino is the forensic biologist on Amanda Knox's defense team.
In this case, the test was done for blood. But was the test done for saliva? No. So we can't know if inside that mixed trace there was blood because it had been demonstrated, or just saliva. Or maybe there was blood from both of them. But what does that mean? Maybe someone had a bloody nose one time, and then at another moment someone cut their finger and put it down, and their blood got mixed.
Then there was the kitchen.
I mean, I don't know. Or she did the murder. Like, that's kind of, if it's a blood and blood, it's like, then it's like a lot more sus.
Knife found in Raffaele Sollecito's flat. This, say the prosecutors, is the murder weapon, which has been cleaned. But they have found DNA of Amanda Knox on the handle and a minuscule amount of Meredith Kircher's DNA on the blade. But the words, "too low," are written on the DNA reports for the knife. The test should never have been carried out, say defense. There's not enough reliable DNA. When questioned by journalists, the prosecution stands by its forensic evidence.
It is not too little. The genetic profile is low, but it is absolutely reliable. In fact, we were able to get it, which means there is no uncertainty about the attribution of that profile to the victim.
More DNA evidence is presented, this time on Meredith's bra clasp. Police say Raffaele Sollecito's DNA is on one of the hooks. This is the only evidence placing him in her bedroom. There is no DNA evidence that puts Amanda in the room. David Balding, a DNA statistician at University College London, is recognized as one of the world's leading analysts. In 2012, he is asked by the Italian Forensic Association to study Meredith Kircher's bra clasp and to give an independent view on whether Sollecito's DNA is present. His findings are not part of the court case.
When you just look at the evidence by eye, you can see very strongly all of Raffaele Sollecito's DNA types are there, and that can't be explained by any kind of just environmental contamination. And I calculate how likely is the evidence under the prosecution assertion that DNA is there from Raffaele Sollecito, and again how likely it is without him being present, and the former is much greater than the latter. So that's when I say that's extremely strong evidence.
But forensic experts representing the defense remain adamant that the bra clasp had been contaminated and is unreliable.
Wait, why?
As far as the bra clasp is concerned, what happened? This bra clasp was collected 46 days after the first crime scene inspection, and a mixture of biological material was found.
Dude, that's insane that it took 46 days. Like, 46 days later, they came back to the scene of the crime. Like, it's like a joke almost. Are you kidding me? Like 46 fucking days, dude? Wow. Wow. Holy shit.
There was a profile attributable to the victim, which is normal, and other material that was attributable to Raffaele Sollecito. There were other traces, but they were not attributed to anyone.
But of course, the history of that bra clasp is a bit unusual because it lay in the room for many days without being collected, and so...
Dude, this guy's not only balding, but his name is David Balding. Untrustworthy.
People are worried about the possibility of contamination arising from that. I can't say anything directly because I wasn't there and I don't know the circumstances about the risk of contamination. But what I can say is that contamination of DNA from passers-by is not an issue. I've taken that into account in the chance of it matching Solecito's DNA is extremely unlikely.
The defense also...
Someone in the chat said, they spent 45 days theorizing sex games. So on the 46th day, they were like, well, maybe we should go back to the scene of the crime, you know? Oh my God, we found... Maron! We found another evidence. We found a piece of evidence. Okay, maybe it's not a sex game. No, it's still a sex game. They like locked up every black person in town. Italian police doing everything but solve the crime.
also uses the crime scene video to question the DNA evidence presented by the prosecution.
I have looked at the crime scene, the videos, bloody shoe prints, cleaned up, not saved. A bra strap collected weeks and weeks and weeks after the initial collection that now supposedly connects Amanda, Raffaele, and Meredith.
But the prosecution keeps producing evidence they say connects Amanda Knox and Raffaele Solecito to the crime scene.
Amanda's footprints.
Like the Friends of Amanda campaign is like literally the worst person to go to on a case. Like that makes no, like what a dumb person to ask feedback on. Like, yeah, that person is not only biased, but like so far removed from the details of the fucking case, you couldn't find a single other person
which were revealed by the luminol, showed DNA attributed to Meredith, which means Amanda was walking in bare feet, covered in blood.
They argue this is proof the couple came back during the night to clean up and stage the break-in, leaving blood-stained footprints in the bathroom and corridor. The defense says there is no proof the prints actually were bloodstains. The luminol may have revealed another substance, such as bleach. The prosecution also presents evidence to challenge the couple's story of what they did that night and the next morning. They show Raffaele's cell phone was turned on at 6:02 a.m., despite their claim they slept until 10. Then there was the telephone call to the Carabinieri, when Solecito knew nothing had been stolen and failed to mention the postal police were at the scene. They also question Raffaele Solecito's changing...
Why wouldn't they tell, like... I don't know. I go back and forth on that. Like, how would they have known that the fucking postal police are going to be incompetent? How do they know that they would fuck the crime scene up? Like, I mean... Yes, the Italian police do have drip. I mean, look at this guy, dude. That's so Italian. Just open neck. Has like a fucking nice little necklace.
Alibi and present eyewitnesses who contradict Knox and Solecito's stories. In court, the prosecution accuses Amanda Knox of being the leader of a sexual attack on Meredith. They say this was payback for Meredith's disapproval of Amanda's lifestyle.
Il discorso del gioco erotico era compreso fin dall'inizio.
The erotic game was always part of the case. I think that night, Amanda wanted to make Meredith pay for judging her, which she found offensive.
Meredith un giudizio che lei avvertiva come offensivo nei suoi confronti.
Girl from Seattle that worked 3 jobs to get to Italy to study abroad, an honor student from Seattle Prep, doesn't overnight, in my experience, turn into a depraved murderess. Overnight.
The courts claim...
What experience do you have? You're just a lady. Like, your only reason for being there is because you were like a fan. You were a fan of like the pretty white lady that may or may not have done the murder. What the fuck was the BBC doing, dude? I can't tell who's more incompetent, the Italian police, the prosecutors, or the BBC for, you know, just routinely going back to this like random American. Do British people just think that we're, you know, authorities on shit? Misogynistic? Really? Misogynism? I'm being misogynistic? Misogynism. I'm being misogynistic here because I'm saying that her credentials are just being a stand for Amanda Knox? How is that fucking misogynistic, dude?
Make difficult hearing for the Knox family.
Obviously, listening to those types of things were, you know, it's horrible. And I mean, it was an all-out attack on her character by individuals that have no idea who she truly is as a person. One of the things that we have tried to do this entire time is obviously support Amanda by always having somebody over here, somebody to visit her and stuff like that. And we have to stay strong.
What do you know? You're just a lady? Yeah, like she's just a guy. You know what I mean? She's like a random person. Like her only connection, unless I misunderstood, but her only connection is that she was operating a fan club. Like, that's why I'm upset. Notice how I didn't say that about the fucking defense, you know, forensics expert? Because that's not just a lady. Okay? That is... She's her lawyer hired by the family. Come on. Wait, the white American lady? This lady? It's really interesting when you make stuff up because you want to simp for white women. Okay? And you just like totally lie. Because, you know, if this lady wasn't just some guy, they would not say Friends of Amanda Knox campaign. They would say Amanda Knox's defense lawyer. I get over guys by telling myself they're just some guy. Okay, she might be an actual fucking lawyer. She's been a visible television commentator in #1 high-profile cases, including the murder of Meredith Kircher in Italy, as legal counsel and as a spokesperson for the Friends of Amanda Knox. Wait, so she was actually... Wait, why the fuck did they just say that... Why don't they say that she's legal counsel? No, I am wrong. I am wrong. 100%. I was misled by the way that BBC is like presenting her. I feel like, wait. Hold on. Legal analyst explaining prominent cases to the general public. She took up the cause of Amanda Knox, in charge of the murder of Meredith. She was contracted by family members of the Knox's classmates, including Mike Heavey. Okay. The group subsequently held fundraisers for Knox's defense, lobby lawmakers, and conduct public relations activities, turning media focus towards the conduct of the prosecution. Oh no, so she wasn't a part of their fucking legal counsel. She was doing... She's not her lawyer, chat. She's just a lady who was fucking... Okay, time for chat to apologize. Time for chat to apologize. They just hired, like, random people hired her to fucking conduct a PR onslaught. She's an American media pundit that they, with, like, legal background, that they fucking hired to do, like, you know, PR shit. You guys made it seem like she was Amanda's lawyer. I'd rather gaslight you.
Strap.
Which she found offensive.
A Meredith un giudizio che lei avvertiva come offensivo nei suoi confronti.
Girl from Seattle that worked 3 jobs to get to Italy to study abroad, an honor student from Seattle Prep, doesn't overnight, in my experience, turn into a depraved murderess. Overnight.
The court's claims make difficult hearings.
Yeah, that's excellent legal defense. I don't know why they didn't hire her as just straight up legal counsel for Amanda Knox. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Why would I do a murder when I haven't done it for, fucking 24 years? Case solved. Everybody knows murderers start, get out of the womb doing murders. That's how it works.
Hearing for the Knox family.
Obviously, listening to those types of things were, it's horrible. And I mean, it was an all-out attack on her character by individuals that have no idea who she truly is as a person. One of the things that we have tried to do this entire time is obviously support Amanda by always having somebody over here, somebody to visit her and stuff like that. And we have to stay strong in order for her to stay strong.
June the 12th, 2009. Amanda Knox spends 2 days on the stand to tell her version of the story. Millions worldwide watch her explanation of why she put the pub owner, Patrick Lumumba, in the frame.
They told me that I was trying to protect someone.
Mi è stato detto che stavo cercando di proteggere qualcuno.
But I wasn't trying to protect anyone.
Ma non stavo proteggendo nessuno.
And they continued to put so much emphasis.
E continuavano a
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Someone in the chat just said, the Brazilian health minister just tested positive for COVID in New York. Shut up. Are you serious? Send me the fucking link, dude. Yo, what is wrong with Brazil, dude? What is going on, dude? Do not come to Brazil. Brazil come to you. And we bring our own COVID. Brazil come to you. And we bring our own COVID for you. We know Bolsonaro can't get it right now because he's gotten it like 11 times. And I think as recently as like last week. So. Oh my God, dude. Bolsonaro is the only unvaccinated G20 leader attending. Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's fucking hilarious, dude. Brazil is the country where your fucking health minister is like spreading COVID, dude.
Mettere così tanta enfasi
On this message that I had received from
sul
Patrick.
messaggio che avevo ricevuto da Patrick.
And so
E quindi
I almost was
io
convinced
quasi
that I had
ero
met him.
convinta che l'avevo incontrato.
Her case is this. She was at Raffaele's house when the murder happened, watching a movie and reading her emails. They stopped watching the film at 9:30. She can't prove it because 2 of their 3 computers were damaged when police tried to search the hard drives. Throughout the year-long trial, Meredith's family fly in from London to testify and witness the key hearings. They try to keep the focus on Meredith and their quest for justice. The 3rd of December, 2009, the eve of the verdict. Amanda's family arrives to hear her plea for freedom.
She knows that she's innocent and has had nothing to do with this, and we're just very hopeful that the court will see and be able to see that in the evidence that's been presented.
Amanda is now almost fluent in Italian.
Io non sono calma.
What the fuck? Bro, what the fuck? Oh, this is a very different take on white people doing semester at sea. Like, she just learned the language, dude. What the, she's like fluent now.
In questi giorni io ho scritto su un foglio davanti a me che avevo paura di perdere me stessa. E cioè ho paura di avere una maschera di assassina forzata sulla mia pelle.
The 4th of December, 2009. 323 days since the trial started. The verdict is broadcast around the world.
Dichiara Knox, Amanda, Marie e sollecito Raffaele colpevoli dei reati loro ascritti.
Guilty of murder. 25 years for Raffaele Sollecito and 26 for Amanda Knox. The extra year...
Bro, Italy, I swear to God, in Italy, they do not give a fuck, dude. Every other country, women get a lesser sentence. Italy, they're like, no, we are going to increase our sentence, okay? You are the devilish woman.
For slandering Patrick Lumumba.
That's right. You made us do a racism, and we liked it. But you made us do it anyway, so I'm going to give you an extra year.
The Kircher's Italian lawyer is satisfied.
The failed alibis, the behavior of Sollecito and Knox's statements, the slander of Patrick Lumumba. These are all elements that, once put together, allow the determination of guilt.
But Knox's family keeps tight-lipped as they leave the courtroom.
Push back. Push back.
Chris, stop.
When they return to Seattle, they immediately start preparing her appeal.
There's not one piece of physical evidence to link this girl to this crime.
They draft legal.
Okay, that's literally not true. Like I feel like the Italian police fucked this like super hard, but this person is like a liar. Like that's what she's doing. She's just lying. Okay.
Piece of physical evidence to link this girl.
I'm sorry, Ann Bremner, friends of the Amanda Knox campaign, but you're fucking lying, dude. Like, there's literally her DNA is on the murder weapon, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? If anything, like, you could just say like, well, there's a lot of DNA there, but that doesn't really prove anything because like she lived there. What a psychotic fucking lie to just put out there.
Girl to this crime.
They draft legal, forensic and political consultants from the US and Italy to strengthen the defense team.
Her DNA is on her own knife. Holy shit. No, I know. I fucking know. I understand that. But saying that there is not a single piece of DNA there is fucking a lie.
It takes a year to get to the appeal. November the 24th, 2010. By now, Knox and Sollecito have been in jail for 3 years. This time there is a new judge and a new prosecutor, Giancarlo Costaiola.
Il relatore Nell'illustrare la relazione,
Despite the fact that there had already been a conviction, the deputy judge said at the beginning of the hearing that the only thing that was certain was that a girl was dead.
praticamente l'unica cosa certa era che era morta una ragazza.
Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito's defense teams decide to focus on Rudy.
By the way, for the people that are saying like, oh, there's no fucking evidence that the knife was used as a murder weapon, there was blood on the knife and it was cleaned. There was her blood on the knife. There was a victim's blood was on the knife and it had been wiped off hastily. So, what the fuck?
Guede. They call prison inmates, convicted criminals, to testify that Guede.
And it was at Raphael's house, not at the crime scene? Oh, shit, I misunderstood. That makes it even more suspicious. So her knife was in Raphael's house and not at the crime scene. And the victim's blood... No, the victim's blood was on the knife. The victim's blood wasn't on the knife. There was a bit of DNA on the inside of the handle edge.
Has confessed to them in prison. June the 27th, 2011.
Hastily wiped like her parents wiped her crimes off the books. Dude, that was good. That was funny.
Rudy Guede takes the stand. By now, after an appeal, his sentence has been cut from 30 to 16 years. He denies he made a jailhouse confession and is asked about a letter he has written claiming Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito killed Meredith.
This guy's such a dummy. I'm sorry, but like in this situation, I would just like, even if I did it, I'd just be like, it's the fucking crazy American. They're crazy. They're murderers. Like, how the fuck did this dude not just like unload, write a testimony?
Cosa vuol dire esattamente? Lei non mi aveva mai detto questo? Allora, io questa, esplicitamente questa maniera non l'ho mai detto, però l'ho sempre... Ma perché l'ha scritto? L'ho scritto perché era un pensiero che è sempre stato dentro di me. Ma quindi non è vero? No, è verissimo.
The key focus of the appeal...
Okay, I'm losing my fucking mind, dude. Everyone is so weird. Why is everybody speaking in poems? Like, is that like an Italian thing? Is that what happens in Italy? Like, everyone just speaks in fucking riddles? Like, just say it normally. Oh, maybe it was something I was thinking inside of my mind. Like, why? Why is everything so romantic, dude? The fucking murder case, like, everybody's doing riddles for some fucking weird reason, dude. Holy shit.
Is on the DNA. Knox and Kircher's DNA on the knife. Sollecito's on the bra clasp. Is it enough to place the defendants at the crime scene or not? The court appoints independent experts Carla Vecchiotti and Stefano Conti from the University of Sapienza, Rome, to review the science. Their report is scathing about prosecution forensic methods. They cite US manuals and standards, highlighting errors made when the evidence was collected. They do find a new trace of DNA on the knife from Sollecito's kitchen that hasn't been tested. However, they argue, it's too small to be of use. This report helps the judge focus his decision on whether there is reasonable doubt about the DNA samples.
Oh my God, dude, why is everybody so convinced that, like, she's innocent, dude? Because she literally is? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's sus. It's a little sussy baka, dude. Definitely a little sus. A little suspicious. Whatever happens the next 4 years can't be as bad as that 4-year study abroad I did in Italy, right? That's what she said on election night. Jesus Christ. Yo, they should make study abroad illegal. Sussy does not equal reasonable doubt. Yeah, guess what, though? On this broadcast, it does. Just like on this broadcast, top of the hour, even if it's 9 minutes later, means it's time for a 60-second ad break. But fear not. While the Italian prosecution might fuck the criminal case up, the HasanAbi broadcast will not fuck up the ad break, okay? You can avoid those ads. If you want an ad-free broadcasting experience, you have an opportunity to do so in the court of law. You can do that by subscribing for $4 or 10 Italian liras. I'm just making that conversion up. I don't know. With the Twitch Prime, you can also do it. You can use an ad blocker or a VPN if you don't want to subscribe. You don't have to. Here's the ad now.
For Meredith's mother and the rest of her family, the hearings are agonizing.
Everything that Meredith must have felt that night, everything she went through, the fear and the terror and not knowing why. And she didn't deserve that. No one deserves that.
October the 3rd, 2011. Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito await their fate for the second time.
In nome del popolo italiano, la Corte di Assise di Appello di Perugia assolve entrambi gli imputati dai reati loro ascritti ai capi A, B, C e D per non aver commesso il fatto.
Not guilty. There is sufficient doubt for Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito to be released immediately.
I'm Deanna Knox, Amanda Knox's sister, and I just have a few words on behalf of our family. We're thankful that Amanda's nightmare is over. She suffered for 4 years for a crime that she did not commit.
That Raffaele had nothing to do with the murder of that poor girl, Meredith Kircher, who remains in our hearts.
Some in the gathering crowd become increasingly agitated about the verdict.
There were people out on the stairs in front of the courthouse, and for a long time they yelled, "Shame on you."
A dark sedan ferries Amanda Knox away to a safe house deep in the Italian countryside for an emotional reunion with relatives after almost 4 years in jail. While Meredith's family is left stunned and pained by the acquittal.
Les has been almost forgotten in all of it. The media photos aren't really of her. There's not a lot about what actually happened in the beginning. So it's very difficult to kind of keep her memory alive in all of this.
The media's photos will be of Amanda Knox arriving home at Seattle Airport.
I'm really overwhelmed right now. I was looking down from the airplane and it seemed like everything wasn't real. What's important for me to say is just thank you to everyone who's believed in me, who's defended me, who's supported my family.
Amanda finds a home in Seattle's International District and returns to the University of Washington to study creative writing. She starts writing a book about her experience, reportedly receiving a $4 million advance, although claims that all of the money goes on legal expenses.
Meanwhile, the fucking black dude is done.
Back in Italy, Rudy Guede is still in prison where he has been beaten up by inmates. He has begun studying to build himself a future and will soon be eligible for parole. For a while, this seems like the end of the story, but fate, or the Italian justice system, has another couple of twists in store. Now it's the turn of the prosecution to appeal, and on the 26th of March 2013, Italy's highest court, known as the Court of Cassation, orders a new trial, overturning Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito's acquittals. They say the first appeal did not debate many of the 10,000 pages from the first trial, focusing too much on the DNA evidence. September the 30th, 2013.
This is the worst documentary I've ever watched in my entire life on a fucking murder situation. And the reason why I say that is because, like, they not once mentioned even a probable motive for the black dude or Amanda Knox. Like, I am still confused as to, like, what the probable motives could be, like, what the speculations could have been. It's just, they just kept saying sex game over and over again like a fucking Italian prosecutor, okay? It's so weird, like... It's just like sex games. Sex games. Could have been sex games. Like, where do they have alibis? Do they not have alibis? Like, yeah, they once like mentioned Amanda was angry about money that Meredith owed or something. No further investigation into whether that's real or not.
The second appeal begins.
You vowed never to watch Britland murder docs. You made your bed. I mean, I know. British people are so, like, bad at... There's just not enough murders happening, I guess, in the UK that they just, like, they're bad at fucking storytelling about murder. They're great at dating shows and stuff, though, from what I understand. You know?
This time, the drama switches to the birthplace of the Renaissance, Florence. Amanda Knox isn't in the courtroom. She refuses to travel from America and defends her decision on television. Only Raffaele Sollecito is present in court. He makes a plea to the judge and jury.
Io vi chiedo umilmente di...
Bro, he no longer looks like Harry Potter.
Poter guardare la realtà di tutta questa vicenda e di considerare il grosso sbaglio che è stato fatto.
Unlike in the appeals court, this judge orders a police forensics lab in Rome to test the new trace of DNA found on the kitchen knife. It's a minuscule amount from where the blade meets the handle. The new test finds that the DNA matches Amanda Knox. Prosecutors say it further proves her involvement in the murder. But the defense says the most likely explanation is that Amanda used the knife when staying at Raffaele's apartment. The 30th of January, 2014. 6 years and 2 months after Meredith Kercher's murder, the second appeal of Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito is coming to a close. The judgment watched by the world.
The music is dog shit too. It's just like this documentary is really bad.
Sollecito doesn't wait to hear the verdict, speeding off in a taxi. Amanda Knox stays in the United States, plagued by the same fear she shared on television. Shortly after 9:30 p.m. local time, after deliberating for more than 12 hours, the judge and jury enter the hall.
A nome del popolo italiano, la Corte d'Assise d'Appello di Firenze, nel procedimento penale contro Knox Amanda Marie, sollecito Raffaele, ridetermina la pena inflitta a Knox Amanda Marie complessivamente in anni 28 e mesi 6 di reclusione. Conferma nel resto l'impugnata sentenza.
This time, an even longer sentence. 28 years and 6 months for Amanda Knox.
They asked him why. They say, for the sex games. We added 1 additional year. We thought about it and we said no sex game.
25 years for Raffaele Sollecito. The lawyers give their verdict.
Bro, they keep adding more time into Amanda Knox's sentence. It's crazy. Italy really is working hard against sexism. Like, they're doing their very best. You gotta respect it a little bit.
This trial has been media-driven. Everything has been amplified. These kids were taken to...
Stop. This is a joke. They didn't make this. They did not make... This is not a BBC documentary. I refuse to believe it. What is this dub, bro? What is this dub? There's no shot. This is a professional documentary made by...
This trial has been media-driven.
This trial has been media-driven. What the fuck? What is happening, dude? It's the same narrator who's reading this part with like a different voice. Bro, how underfunded is the BBC right now?
Everything has been amplified. These kids were taken to prison 4 days after the body was found. They were the first suspects and never lost that image.
If it was a media-driven trial, it's not due to the Kircher family, who have been absolutely silent. So if we're talking about a media circus, we need to look at the behavior.
Yeah, y'all motherfuckers need to pay your licenses out there, oi bros. What the fuck are you doing, dude? You're leaving your glorious BBC significantly underfunded. Shit's looking like a fucking Fiverr doc, dude. It's like worse than one of those like AI generated YouTube videos on some like obscure Russian channel with like 38 million subscriptions.
Behavior of the suspects and their followers.
In court, the victim of Amanda Knox's original slander, Patrick Lumumba, is relieved. He's been awarded €40,000 compensation.
Life has changed a lot, but when you have obtained justice, like this evening, you feel more encouraged to start all over again.
Raffaele Sollecito has disappeared, but the next day, police find him 200...
I'm sorry, but I also love that, like, the Italian cops that were super fucking racist and like totally acted on the whims and arrested a dude and put him in jail for 2 fucking weeks just because he was black and because Amanda Knox said so when she was under duress, now get to turn around and be like, oh, I cannot believe you did this to us. It's like, dude, you guys kind of didn't do your fucking... You kind of didn't do any research. Like, you just literally jailed an innocent black man for 2 weeks for no reason other than, you know, you were just looking for a guy. That's nuts. And we know you can't say believe all women because it's Italian. Like, they don't. They disbelieve women on purpose. Like, they literally are like, Amanda Knox, you get the 28 years now. Fuck you. Like, it's the only time where I've seen, like, a Western criminal justice system punish the woman more than the guy. So you know they didn't do it out of feminism or whatever. Some misguided sense of feminism. Because they're Italian.
150 miles away at a hotel near the Austrian border. They confiscate his passport. His lawyers say he wasn't trying to flee the country. He remained free until his final appeal.
anybody losing anyone close to them is hard. Losing somebody so young, and the way that we did, is obviously 100 times worse. And then on top of that, to have all the media attention that has gone on for so long, just makes it very, very difficult to cope with.
I think we all definitely want some form of closure, even just having it almost at an end of the Italian justice system and knowing that that's the final decision, and then we can all start to remember just Meredith rather than focusing on who did it or what happened.
The day of the final appeal came yet another year later, on the 25th of March 2015, 7.5 years from when Meredith was brutally murdered in the hillside cottage in Perugia. Italy's Supreme Court of Cassation was called upon to decide whether or not to uphold the guilty verdict. With no cameras allowed in court, the media camped out on the stairs of the imposing palace of the Supreme Court, interviewing lawyers as they came and went. Amanda Knox's lawyers argued her Florence conviction was a grave judicial error, while
Dude, why is there like video game soundtrack music in the background? It's just like, this is actually the worst. British people have never seen a documentary.
Raffaele Sollecito's lawyers likened him to Forrest Gump. Those familiar with the story of Forrest Gump know he is an innocent to whom gigantic, crazy things happen. After a day and a half of final arguments, the panel of 5 judges retired to deliberate. Journalists and legal observers reflected on the possible outcomes. Amanda Knox and her family awaited the decision in Seattle, while Raffaele Sollecito went back home to Bari. After 10 hours of deliberation, shortly before 11 p.m., the final verdict was pronounced. The guilty verdict was sensationally overturned. Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito were cleared of all charges except for Amanda's slander of Patrick Lumumba.
I'm incredibly grateful for what has happened, for the justice I've received.
We must no longer suggest any possible involvement of Raffaele Sollecito. Enough, enough, enough!
Oh my God. I feel like I'm dreaming right now. I'm in a haze watching this. This is like so painful, the way that they did this document. This video's probably redubbed and re-soundtracked to avoid copyright. Like, what the fuck happened?
Francesco Maresca, the Kircher's lawyer, was stunned as well.
The final word came with Friday's verdict that declared the innocence of the 2 accused, although it did refer to the second clause of Article 530, which relates to insufficient evidence.
La non sufficienza, diciamo così, della prova.
È stato insopportabile. Non solo per 4 anni sono stato in carcere, ma anche perché sono stato additato come un assassino.
They were acquitted without a retrial, so this is where it ends.
That Meredith's memory has touched many over the years has been some solace to her family.
We know Meredith is remembered, but as Lyle said, it's actually almost the horrific circumstances that have been forgotten of how she was actually taken from us.
7.5 years have passed since the death of Meredith Kircher. Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito have been found not guilty of her murder, for which Rudy Guede alone is in jail. The very same Court of Cassation ruled he did not act alone. No attempt is being made to find other culprits, leaving many unanswered.
This is so wild. Like, okay, dude, if they think like he didn't act alone, then who else was there? Like, they just fuck it. Like, all right, we put the black guy in jail, the Italian guy and the white lady from America, they're fine. We're gonna let them out. Yeah, it's fine. We're good.
Answered questions for the Kircher family. who may never know what happened to Meredith that tragic night of the 1st of November 2007.
I think this is the first time that I've ever watched like a murder documentary of the sort, and I'm more confused about the fucking details of the case than enlightened in any meaningful capacity. Like, it's just so, like, I'm more confused. I have more questions. I'm so confused. You fucking killed her. Why do you keep saying, oh, they put the black guy in jail, I'm missing something? I don't understand. Like, did he kill her? I mean, or did he just like have sex with her and then, I mean, it's likely that he killed her because his DNA is definitely there. But like the Amanda Knox side of things is so confusing that, like, if Amanda Knox was not there, like, remove her from the equation and I have an easier time convicting the other dude. Does that make sense? In May 2011, Greg Hampikian, director of Idaho Innocence Project, a nonprofit investigative organization dedicated to proving the innocence of wrongly convicted people, said forensic results from the crime scene pointed to Gade as the killer and to his having acted on his own. In the end. Yeah, also his DNA is not on the knife. The Netflix documentary is far superior. Rudy Gade is 100% guilty and had a history of breaking into houses. Okay, now we watch why we started this to begin with.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Power is so scary. Like that kind of power. The power and also the influence and sort of cronyism, like being deeply attached to the criminal justice system for many, many years over there, being respected and being a part of this investigative world where they're all the cops and they're all just like they know each other and, you know, they look out for each other.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they didn't change their story once they had all the DNA evidence of that Rudy guy, and then it was all over it. They didn't go, okay, we've made a mistake, and instead they doubled down. And not only that, but didn't go after him for the murder.
Well, they did.
But they didn't convict him of the murder, I should say.
So what
did they convict him of?
So they convicted him of her rape because it was only his DNA that was found inside of her body. And they convicted him of conspiracy to commit murder. So basically,
so did this dude like know her at all, or like he just randomly broke into her house and raped her? Like, I don't understand. That documentary was so bad. She dated him. They said the break-in was staged. That's what I have read. Yeah, the break-in looked staged because the rock was too big to go through the window. We totally fucking... Dude, we totally skipped that part. They brought it up once and then never again. There was a rock to make it look like it was a break-in. Stage Pepega? No, but the rock was too big to go through the window. They mentioned it one time.
basically taking part in a murder, but not being the one to actually plunge the knife.
But this was a fabrication by the this is the prosecutor's idea that
Yes.
he was there with Raffaele. And
okay, I can't believe. Don't get mad at me, but who took the shit? Like, whose poopy was it in the bathroom? And then they didn't like actually flush it. So it was Rudy? Like, they actually didn't, right? Wasn't that some of the first evidence that it couldn't have been a one-man homicide? Yeah, but like they never went back to it.
And that you guys held her down.
Yes. So they say that the scenario that my prosecutor painted, and he painted a few different scenarios because he couldn't really, like, his imagination was going wild and there wasn't a lot of actual, obviously there wasn't any evidence to support any of them, but he kept thinking, okay, it's the day after Halloween, so maybe it's a satanic sex ritual. We know that there's some kind of sex thing involved. We know that Amanda is we know that Amanda has sex with people, so she's probably a sexually obsessed person, and Meredith looked down on her for being a sexually obsessed person. So what is likely to have happened in his brain is that I was hanging out with Raffaele and Rudy. Meredith comes home. She starts scolding me for my bad morals, and then I'm like, you know what, bitch? We're going to rape you and kill you. That's his scenario. And it's so unfortunate on so many levels because it says more about him than it says about anyone else that he would imagine that that's just how people react to each other. And
This was not his initial idea, though, right? Was this his initial idea?
I mean, his initial idea was that I was involved somehow. He didn't know how, but he thought that I was involved somehow. I knew something. I was covering up for someone. And that's why he interrogated me for 53 hours over 5 days.
Which is really scary that they can do that, right? It's like you can get someone to say a lot of things if you can get alone with them in a room and scare the fuck out of them and just torture them.
Well, I'm glad you know that because like a lot of people don't know that.
You can get people to crack.
Oh, absolutely. Like it's
people crack when they get pulled over by the cops for speeding.
Oh yeah.
People crack for all kinds of things. They crack if they have a joint in their glove box.
Mm-hmm.
People crack.
Will Joe Rogan ask why she blamed the innocent black man? Will he push that point, you think?
Yeah.
You know, when
I don't know if this
authority
is real
is
or not,
scaring
but that
you,
makes
coming down on you, and in your case, actually hit you a couple times. And you're 20.
Yeah.
Right? Like
I was 20.
Your brain isn't even fully formed.
My brain isn't fully formed. My friend had just been murdered. I was alone in a foreign country, and people who I was entrusting my life and safety to were screaming at me that I was wrong, that
Maybe because black men are criminals at a proportionally higher rate than Italian women? Okay. That's incredible. Like maybe because first of all, that's not how you do, like that's called racial profiling, you fucking idiot. It's literally not how you're supposed to do it. It's racist. Also, she's not even Italian. And also, you know, again, you just literally said, maybe I'm racist. Like, let me rephrase that for you. You basically said, maybe I'm fucking racist and automatically assume black people do it. Okay? That's all you said. Like, maybe amongst other racist idiots, that's a reasonable argument to make, but like normal people will, you know, hopefully not see that. In the same way, and they'll recognize it for how fucking stupid and racist that is. Having said that, of course, like him having sex with her I don't know if it was consensual or not, or having a history of break-ins. That's not great. That does definitely at least like create more suspicion that he was at least involved if it was not a one-person job.
I was never going to see my family again. That I was.
A lot of articles explaining his arrest found a single bloody palm print from him under her pillow that was under her dead body. So I guess that's why. Yeah, he said he did it because he wanted to, like, he saw that she was dying and tried to, like, fucking save her or something, and then ran away because he got scared.
Was super traumatized that I had seen something so horrible that I must have just completely blocked it out. And here's a scenario that would explain that. Look, you have a text message from your boss, Patrick Lumumba.
The chatter was referencing the innocent black man. What? That doesn't mean anything. That chatter was still being racist, man. You know that, right? Like,
you must have met him that night. You must have seen him murder Meredith. Just admit it. Just admit it. Remember.
My last is a sub, man. Sorry to not be able to sub anymore. Still love you and your content. You taught me a lot. What the fuck? Okay, dude, are you all right? Like,
kept telling me, like, the gross thing about it was they kept telling me to remember. They didn't even tell me to, like, admit it. They were telling me that I just couldn't remember it. And I had to remember, or else I was never going to see my family again.
Jesus. So were you thinking that you just had to tell them whatever they wanted to hear just so you could get out of there?
Honestly, I started to question.
Guys, don't say fuck that chatter. You don't know what his situation is. I don't know. It's okay, man. Like,
my own
sanity. You know, all my content is free, right? Like, you don't have to subscribe. Like, I don't know.
I started to believe them that I must have witnessed something horrible, and I just couldn't remember it. And that's the only explanation for why they would treat me that way.
How long did that take before you think you started questioning your sanity?
So I was, a few hours into that final interrogation. That was in the middle of the night. I was not prepared to be interrogated at all because, honestly, they didn't even call me in that night. They called my boyfriend, Raffaele, but I was staying with him, and I was afraid to be alone at home because a murder was on the loose. And so I went with him, and I was waiting in the lobby, like by the elevator, waiting for him to come out from questioning. And then they brought
Wait, she explained why she blamed the black dude?
I was, a few hours into that final interrogation. That was in the middle of the night. I was not prepared to be interrogated at all because, honestly, they didn't even call me in that night. They called my boyfriend, Raffaele, but I was staying with him, and I was afraid to be alone at home because a murder was on the loose. And so I went with him, and I was waiting in the lobby, like by the elevator, waiting for him to come out from questioning. And then they brought me in and just went on and on and on. And so I cracked eventually. So the thing that cracked me too was they brought in an interpreter, right? Someone who actually spoke English, because for a long time I was just talking to people in Italian, and I was worried that I wasn't even comprehensible. I thought that the reason why they were yelling at me was because I was doing something wrong. Like, I just wasn't explaining myself correctly. And then
how fluent were you at the time?
I mean, I had been there for like 5 weeks. So I was...
And you took Italian before?
I had taken Italian for a year before. So I was about as fluent as... I'd like to say I had about the fluency of a 10-year-old, but I think that that's even generous because I could speak in certain tenses. My vocabulary was totally limited, though. So there were limited things that I actually had the words to say. And I remember even when I... shortly after I was interrogated and signed the statements that they had written up for me, they finally stopped yelling at me. They left me alone. I had a moment to just like be off to the side, quiet to myself. And I was like, oh my God, what just happened? Everything is wrong. This is all wrong. I need to tell them that it's all wrong. And I can't just go up in front of a jury right now and say, this is the person who did it. I saw him do it. Like, I don't actually remember that. And I told them, I need to tell you. And they were like, no, you'll remember. Don't worry about it. Like, we don't need to talk anymore. You'll remember. Just stay over there and keep remembering. And I was like, no, I'm not remembering. And eventually I asked them, like, please give me a piece of paper, because they weren't listening to me. So I wrote on this piece of paper, I'm so confused. They were yelling at me. Like, I can't actually testify to this. And I gave it to them and I was like, here's a gift, because I didn't have the word for like, here's my recantation.
Right.
I was just like, I'm giving this to you. I need you to hear me. And they were like, okay, whatever. We're taking you to jail. Actually, they didn't even tell me they were taking me to jail. They were telling me that I was being taken to a holding place for my own protection and that I was an important witness.
So they didn't tell you that you were being taken to jail because you were one of the people they were accusing?
No, I was already in prison before I was ever actually told you are suspected for the killing of Meredith Kircher. I was already in prison.
How long had you known this Meredith girl for?
A few weeks.
And you'd met her just because you'd all moved there at the same time?
Yeah.
I mean, sharing a place together?
Yeah, so she had moved in before me, but it was basically there were two.
Just like the most Redditor energy. She looks to the left a lot when answering a question. Body language says she's not honest. Hasan is developing stage of a pink eye. Like... Yeah, dude. That's what's going on. You got me. No, I don't. But what is weird is like every time I bend forward, fucking shit comes out of my nose. It's like not snot though. And when I pushed back on my eye a little bit, like the same thing. I don't know what it is. I think it's like sinus infection or something. Not literal shit. It's like when you have a runny nose, but it's not snot. I don't know how to describe it. Okay, I should stop describing it regardless. That's caca right there. Okay, dude. Ear ducts can get clogged from allergies, making them smaller, and then can cause those weird nose liquid runs. I mean, I've never had allergies before, but I'm 30, so maybe I do now. Weird. If it's clear, it might be cerebral fluid, but that isn't that dangerous. Could be a back thing. What? I'm not going to get a neti pot. Neti pots are dangerous.
Rooms to
Shut the fuck
let
up.
in this little house that was right next to the university, and we both happened to pick a flyer.
And did you guys hang out a lot? Did you know her well? Was she a good friend, or was she just someone you lived with?
She was like a budding friend. Like, we definitely hung out. We would go to pizza together. I remember we went to, like, there's this famous chocolate festival that's in Perugia where they would, like, take huge refrigerator-sized blocks of chocolate and, like, carve them, which was super cool. I'm very into that. And we would go and check that out together. But we weren't, like, the best of friends. Like, she had a friend group of other young women from Great Britain that she hung out with a lot more than she hung out with me. But that isn't to say that we didn't go out dancing together or go out to dinner together. We definitely did that.
The moment you found out that she had been murdered, what was that like?
It's confusing because I knew that something was wrong as soon as I came home and I found that there was a window broken into and Meredith wasn't answering her phone. But I didn't understand what was wrong. I didn't know. And when the police came in and broke down her door and everyone started screaming, I didn't see into her room. I never actually saw her body. And so I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if that was Meredith in the room. In fact, I remember at the first thing that Philomena, one of my roommates, started yelling was, "A foot, a foot." And I was like, oh my God, is there like a severed foot in Meredith's room? Like, I don't know what's going on. Philomena is hysterical and I don't know what's going on. Everyone's yelling in Italian, speaking really quickly. I don't understand. So I actually was relying on Raffaele to translate for me, like, what is going on? He was like, I don't know. Let me figure it out. And we were all like shoved out of the house. And finally someone is like,
wait, so there were multiple people living in that house, not just them two? Bro, this is like... I mean, that fucking documentary was so bad. Oh my God. It literally made me like... I know less about the case now. What is your scenario, chat? Did she order Gay to rape and kill her like Hitler or some shit? You guys make no sense. Hasan Baijan, she didn't do it. I mean, there are numerous scenarios. Like, first of all, there could have been like other roommates. I don't even know what the fuck. I didn't even know there were other roommates until now. I'm so fucking confused. I don't know why you are making it seem like, you know, it's a 100% certainty.
Like, it's Meredith, and she's dead. And I was like, oh my God. Like, it was outside of the house that someone was telling me her body was in there. And someone told me that there was all this blood. I remember not actually knowing like how she had died until I went to the police office and I asked. I was like being questioned and one of the police officers was like, click. And so like I sort of learned over the course of that day the details of it.
Hasan is such a gop bro. What the fuck is a gop bro? He gives no shit about the woman's perspective of her time. Just wants to see her get a conviction. Then you look at his nails and everything makes sense. Dude, what's going on with the chat today, dude? Respond to this? Here, there you go.
But I didn't fully understand like what had really happened. Like, as far as I knew, you know, I mean, it was clear that there was a break-in. Like, the window had been broken into. It was Philomena's room. All of her stuff was all over the place. It wasn't clear to me what had happened, though. And it wasn't until over the course of that whole day and piecing together what I was hearing that I understood the gravity of the situation, that she had been sexually assaulted, that she had been stabbed to death, that it was a struggle. It was all like, I remember the first thought, and it's a guilty thought that I had. I remember thinking, thank God I wasn't home, because that could have been me. And a part of me, like, over time felt really guilty about that thought, because I thought maybe if I was home and there had been two of us, maybe the outcome would have been different. Maybe we would have been.
Sniffing coke makes you have an itchy nose? Yeah, dude. I'm fucking always I'm just railing lines of coke, dude. Deranged Twitch chatters who've like literally never been outside or ever done fucking drugs. That only read shit on subreddits and they just make these idiotic fucking assumptions like they know something.
Been able to fend him off together. But here's, you know, an athletic guy wielding a knife. I'm not sure that we would have. And maybe I would have been dead too. So it's kind of a thought that comes back to mind a lot when I think about this, and how fortuitous it was, that I just happened to be in this like brand new romance and hanging out with my new boyfriend all the time, every waking moment that I could. And that's what happened.
It's hard for me to imagine the jolt of a 20-year-old life where you are overseas, going to school, involved in this new romantic relationship, and then out of nowhere, boom, you're a suspect in a murder.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting is I didn't know. Like, I didn't know that I was a suspect. It's like the boom for me was someone close to me just died, and that could have been me. And now what?
And then it was all those things that piled on, they kept piling on.
Yeah. And then, you know, I'm in jail. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is all just a horrible misunderstanding. Like, I'm sure they're going to figure it out sometime. I remember like the first 2 years of my imprisonment, I was convinced that it was all just a big misunderstanding and somebody would figure it out. And I was convinced.
What do you mean evidence against Amanda? There's evidence against her. I mean, there isn't really like established motive, but the evidence is that like there was fucking the victim's blood on the knife that on the knife that they suspected was used as the murder weapon, and Amanda's DNA was on it, and it was cleaned off, and it was at like the boyfriend's house. Her bloody footsteps were all around the house too. Like the thing was like completely contaminated. Rudy was a known burglar and had been arrested in multiple Italian cities. I'm not even saying that like Rudy is not sus. He definitely is too. Like I said, if I had never fucking heard from her or had seen the way she operated, like I would never in a million years even think she's suspicious. But like she's her own biggest enemy. And I need to read more about it and like maybe watch another fucking documentary that was better than whatever the fuck we watched. Like it's very suspicious. Like there's a bloody footstep. Like her naked bloody footstep is in the apartment, but she says she doesn't even see the body. Like a lot of their blood is mixed in all over the fucking house. I think Rudy raped her, had sex with her, and then he was in the toilet when Amanda and her boyfriend came in and murdered her. And then Rudy came out of the toilet because of the sound and didn't flush and tried to stop the bleeding like he said before running away after that. And they made it look like a break-in. But like, why would they murder her then? Also, the people that keep saying like Rudy murdered her. Like, I'm pretty sure Rudy was neighbors with them and was friends with them. So, you know, there's like weird ass evidence on every side of the fucking equation. Like, I like that we circled around back to like, it was a weird sex game. Like, I like that, you know, when you look at all of the information, you're like, maybe it was a fucking weird sex game. Who knows? Not true, her footprint. Not her footprint. Yeah, I mean, we all know the real fucking criminal in this is the Italian police, okay? Like, the biggest crimers in this entire case is the Italian prosecution and police, okay? I think we can all agree on that. They fucking botched this so bad. They basically fucking tortured her, got a false confession out of her, and then went and then arrested some random fucking black dude off that false confession, detained him for 2 weeks while she was running around, and then came back 45 days later and like found key pieces of evidence. Like, they're fucking, this will help. You want me to go to the Amanda Knox Reddit, dude? Are you psychotic? Reddit is the last place I should go to whenever there's like an unsolved mystery, okay? Reddit is the equivalent of asking my chat for advice, which I do regularly, and it's really stupid of me to do so.
I was convinced that there was no possible way that people could actually believe that I was involved. Like, even just not because it's me, but because there wasn't any evidence there. Like, it was so patently obvious to me that like this idea of me, this Foxy Noxy character that was being constructed in the courtroom, this Luciferina, like this idea of a person was obviously made up. It was so obvious to me. And yet, and yet.
It did seem like the Italian media just ran with it, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that was one of the big sort of regrets that especially my family had, was at the very beginning, they were advised to not speak to the media at all because they were just going to make a field day of it. There was, in the same way that there was never going to, once I was accused, there was never going to be anything that I could do to prove my innocence in the eyes of people. My lawyers were also worried that there was nothing my family could say, but that would not be twisted and turned into something that would just further fuel the scandal mongering. And what that meant was there was a void. There was a void in which who I was, my very identity, could be constructed out of total fantasy. That was the only thing the only reason why it was being constructed was to further this scandal and to sell more papers. Like that was the reason why it wasn't the public interest of the story that kept the Sun in Britain reporting on this case. Like they were reporting on whether or not I ate pizza, like the days leading up to my arrest. Like
it's just selling papers.
It's just selling papers.
Watch the.
No, she never. I don't think she apologized for blaming the black dude. Well, tell us how you really feel. Some of us are kind of qualified to give advice, though. I'm in the last year of my master's in counseling and have my own clients and have supervision. Bro, I can't tell if that's bait or not. You realize that, like, if you are actually, I don't know, if you're actually doing, like, legit counseling, like, you probably know that, doing it over a Twitch stream to a random guy is, not the best avenue to do so. It's got to be bait, right? This is bait. No shot. This is like serious. That chick is lying her ass off. Okay, listen. I saw the GenZ Republicans. We're going to look at this more tomorrow. GenZ Republicans have their own media now. Firefight, hosted by Gunnar Thordersen. Cup of Joe, politically right, not correct. American Mavericks, Lance Johnston and Dom Fernando. Are these like all people they found on TikTok or something? Like, what the fuck's going on here? Morgan's Minute with 2 N's. Things to know in a minute or less. Going through it with Galen and Joey. Joa. What's your point with Kaylee Campbell? Basic Facts Matter with Xavier Durasso. Is this fake? It's a joke, right? Lean Right with Blake Cressis. I can't wait for this to come out. It's going to be awesome. This seems to unfortunately be real. Today is America, inspiring generations of free-thinking Americans. Fastest growing Gen Z organizations in the country with over 200 content creators. Can I see? Like, can I watch one of this? I would like to watch some of this. Republican Hype House. Millennial Republicans. Donate to Change Minds. The thing I do know is they're going to make so much money. Like, so much. Right, hold on a second. Is Amanda lookout? No. I just closed the window because it's getting hot here. There's no way this isn't an ARG or something. Okay, we'll do the CM Punk video tomorrow because I'm fucking dying. I don't know what's going on. Every time I fucking, put my head forward, I got like little, not like a booger or snot or anything, but it's just like water coming out of my nose. Like weird water. It's probably the Twitch brain rot. Most likely, I suspect. You know? Twitch brain rot is finally getting to me, chat. Got me. You need a nice tuck in from the homies. I do. Stunning lo-fi introduction. I think I have Havana syndrome, dude. I think I have Havana syndrome, chat. I'm just kidding. Right after fixing your bag too? I mean, I didn't fix it fully. It just like feels good. Anyway, love you all and I will see you tomorrow, okay? There he is again. There's about to be a war in Melbourne. You never shouted out the shit camp merch. We also vote for you. Yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. Alright, bye guys. Uncle Euger's face. Sudden discord agitprop. Gray names take on race. Tiny Bernie Sanders, LGBTQ Air Force. The whole left at your fingertips, and Anya out your door. The H3 Crowder debate, the Young Turks online show. 3 full fucking years of this, and plenty more to go. 90-day fiance talks of champagne bourgeoisie. A Trump rally live reaction, a mass riot in DC. There he is again, Hasan is streaming. Hasan is streaming. There he is again. Hasan is streaming. Hasan is streaming.